Hi everyone, this is New Gundam Breaker, Gundam Breaker 3 Break Edition, Gundam vs. What's up? Editing Kinsey, 2 in the morning. Check this out. I was gonna say all of those games in a row, but let's be real, y'all are probably gonna skip it, and I'm gonna skip it too. So, let's move on. This is a big ass compilation of every single Gundam video with chapters and all that other shit. If I need to update my thoughts, I'll do it briefly before the videos themselves, but essentially, this is your one-stop shop. My videos will always be available on the channel to watch by themselves, but for those of you wondering which games I've covered, check the chapters! I might surprise your ass with what I gotta say about your faves. Now, just to disclaim, yes, some of these videos are older. This is 3 years worth of content and opinions. Things change. My mic quality changed, my editing changed, and my ways of speaking and joking have changed also. I really hope you enjoy seeing my evolution through these videos if you've been here for a while. And if you're new here, welcome! Consider this your first step to being a cute bitch. I hope you enjoy your stay. Let's get into the real reason you're here, starting with New Gundam Breaker. I don't think I'd change anything about my video aside from the mic quality. It's a good video in my opinion, and I still agree with it pretty much fully. I'm glad I can revisit it though, so I can fix my one biggest editing mistake, which is fucking blasting people's ears off at the end. Don't know why I thought that was okay. But yeah, that's all from me, so here's me. Hi everyone, this is Kinsey. You know when a game comes out that you only hear is bad for either unknown reasons or very, very well-known reasons? For me, that game was New Gundam Breaker. I have always known about the popularity of Gunpla and how seriously people took it, but I never took the time to build my own. I was perfectly comfortable just looking at Gunpla on display in stores. I was a simple kid back then. I was also a fan of the Dynasty Warriors Gundam series because instead of focusing on the realism of actually piloting these heavy-ass suits like the Mobile Suit Gundam games, the Warriors games focused on giving you all of these Gundam's cool moves and let you slash your way through thousands of mass-produced suits while being light as a feather. New Gundam Breaker seemed like, to me, having no knowledge of the Gundam Breaker series prior, the chance to have that same Dynasty Warriors experience, but with more realistic Gundam elements from the other games. Normally, I would have gone ahead and purchased it. I didn't, but I was always looking out for it. Over time, however, I noticed something about the game. The price kept dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. Oh look, it's 15 bucks. And that made me look up reviews. And every review basically said the same thing at the time of release. The game is mediocre, has a mountainside worth of technical issues, and is overall just the worst way to localize the series, and is an even worse follow-up to a game called Gundam Breaker 3. So here we are today. Not only do I have a heavily patched version of New Gundam Breaker, but I also have Gundam Breaker 3 imported straight from Asia, so I will be reviewing both of them. Gundam Breaker 3's video will be more of a comparison to New Gundam Breaker, while New Gundam Breaker will be the benchmark for Gundam Breaker 3. Okay, I said enough. Let's get to the breaking. This is my review on New Gundam Breaker. Yeah, those reviews were right. Well, mostly. Let me just start out by saying that this game is a mess of unrefined combat and just weird design decisions, but the game ran fine. No matter what I was doing in the game, the patches must have helped because I was not only running at a smooth frame rate, but I was able to hit 60 FPS on PS4 Pro at times. The game had frame rate drops and literal hitches, but overall the game played well enough for me to focus on its problems that it can't just patch under the rug. But for now, let's start with the good. The game looks excellent. The game took the more toy-like route with the graphics. I feel like I could reach into the TV and grab one of those models and it would look the exact same in the real world. Your Gunpla sits on your desk in the main menu, and it can be posed in many ways in the photo mode. The environments also look great, especially the map where it looks like the lobby to an office or something. It's so cute how everything is so big around us, it's like children's toy warfare and it looks adorable. The looks also go hand in hand with the customization of your Gunpla, and if you are thinking about getting this game, this should be the reason why. The customization is so flexible, and a new feature for this game was being able to loosely customize the inner frame of your Gunpla, which apparently was new for the series. The colors of every single piece you collect can be changed to your color value of choice. Your colors can be as metallic or as glossy as you want, and there are even presets that let you pick a paint job to save you the trouble of crafting a great color scheme. The promise of customizing the Gunpla of your dreams is definitely possible, and as a result, I feel like I can recommend this Gunpla customization tool to any Gunpla fanatics out there. unless you have access to the Japan only series, which I hear is amazing, but we'll get to that in the next video. And now for the bad, cause this list is gonna be pretty hefty. On the dark side of assembling your Gundam, if you don't want to grind for parts that is, you can choose to buy the parts yourself, and each single part, whether it is small scale or big scale, which is 1/44 scale, or 1/100th scale, is a whopping 100,000 Gundam points. 100 grand! This wouldn't suck so hard if it weren't for the fact that you barely get money after missions. Depending on the amount of duplicate parts you get during the mission, you can sell those dupes for Gundam points at the results screen, and you will almost never reach a decent amount. It is reasonable to say that you will never reach the amount to buy every part in the game, so you will be grinding off of missions hoping you'll get the parts that you want. Each part also comes with its own stats, which makes building the Gundam of your dreams kinda difficult. You either build the kit you want and have mediocre stats potentially, or you min-max and you have a monstrosity of a creation. The parts you get are also randomized because no matter what mission you play, the mission will spawn randomized gunpla, which means that when you're looking for a specific part, you'll just have to get lucky and hope you aren't wasting your time. From the moment you spawn in, your first responsibility in any typical mission is to break open crates and get experience to level up your gunpla for the mission to gain access to your skills. Think of it as creep farming in MOBAs. This system works okay for this game, even though the experience takes a while to come to your gunpla. But it gets pretty annoying when you're fighting enemies and the lock-on system immediately shoots to a crate somewhere on your far left. Oh yeah, the lock-on sucks. Lock-on is done by aiming your camera, and the lock-on space will attach heavily to a single target. In a one-on-one battle, this would be fine, but you are constantly fighting upwards of 10 to 20 units at a time, so you will be struggling to lock on to the unit you want to kill, but your lock-on cursor will fuck off to the mobile armor that is over yonder. Not to mention that the lock-on camera makes fighting up against objects in the battlefield a headache. The fighting itself feels cheaply made, impact on hits is lacking, and worst of all, the reason for this lackluster carnage is stupid as hell too. The story is set up in missions where at first you'll be going solo, and after these missions you'll be choosing between characters to go on missions with, and their missions lead to other missions with that same character. The difference in characters only applies to the story itself, which takes place in Gunbray High? Okay, so in Gundam Breaker High, there are two sides. Everyone who can build gunpla and the rejects, and naturally you and 3 other girls are the reject. One girl is your typical valedictorian type who's perfect at everything, but she's not on the side with the perfect people. Another girl is your typical Hinata Hyuga type, and the other one is... batshit insane. The motivations are paper thin and only serve to get you controlling your gunpla faster. Skipping cutscenes will allow you to miss nothing. Overall, the story is a reason to play and nothing else. Maybe you'll attach to the characters, but if you don't, oopsie doopsie, guess the story is fucking useless. But aside from that, I had a bunch of fun with the game. There's a certain satisfaction to building a gunpla and taking it for a spin, seeing how much attack power they have and how fast you can clear a wave of enemies, provided that wave of enemies doesn't just decide to gangbang you and wipe your health in one go.
No, don't die. You have been slain.
That part is fun, and the degree of customization only makes that better. If only the rest of this game followed suit. Yes, the game has been patched a bunch, but at the same time, these problems will most likely stay with the game forever. I don't think the game is unsalvageable garbage like a few people think, but it's fun and that's about it.
Gundam Breaker 3 is still one of my favorite games to date, and if I had never intended on covering it, I would have never played it, and I'm glad I did. I agree with this one as well, and considering that both these Breaker games got me past 100 subs, I gotta say both these videos are really special to me.
Upon starting the game for the first time, you have to do a lot of reading, and by reading, I mean... Shut the fuck up! After all of that, the game immediately threw me into the story. You play a competitor in somewhat of a Gundam Grand Prix, where you have to make the gunpla that will rival the rest.
That premise immediately stuck out to me more than New Gundam Breaker. Games like Yu-Gi-Oh! Beginning of Destiny, Super Dragon Ball Heroes, and now Gundam Breaker 3 all deal with you playing the game within the game, while not being in the universe of the game itself. And I have a soft spot for games like that, so I immediately felt at home, honestly. The main character was pretty likable, and the characters you meet on your journey to being the best team definitely stick out more than the 3 girls you're forced to be around in New Gundam Breaker. The cast constantly switched up and added to the experience as well, especially the SD Gundam Knight that joins your party.
ちょっと、なんで私は呼び捨てでそっちは主殿なの？私は門松のインプットしたデータに従っているだけだ。門松。
And yes, while you are a faceless protagonist, at least you get to see yourself in the hub world, so that helps to allow you to identify with your pilot more than in New Gundam Breaker, which showed you no one. Overall, the game's introduction did much better than New Gundam Breaker's, but not everything is peaches and cream. The intro also throws you straight into the gameplay with a pre-made GM3. While the intro is well done for those who like hack and slash gameplay, if you don't even like it, or Gundam for that matter, then you most likely will get bored pretty fast. Here lies the main difference I noticed early on in Gundam Breaker 3. The mission structure is non-existent. In New Gundam Breaker, the game gives you tasks to do during the mission that can at least keep you busy, but in Gundam Breaker 3, more often than not, you will mainly just be beating the shit out of Gunpla until you reach the final boss of the mission. Then that's it. Like I said, I like that gameplay loop, but if you don't like hack and slash games, or beat 'em ups for that matter, which this game is closer to, you will most likely not enjoy yourself as much as someone else who does. But that's fine, because that initial intro, and I mean this lovingly, is arguably the worst part of the game. Because as soon as you finish that, you can customize your Gunpla, and that's when Gundam Breaker 3 begins to earn its reputation, and when New Gundam Breaker starts to show its ass. Remember when I said that you should most definitely get New Gundam Breaker for its customization alone, unless you have access to the Japanese series? Well, now I have access to it. New Gundam Breaker is a bit biter. Can I copy your homework head ass? Everything that New Gundam Breaker gives you is accessible from Gundam Breaker 3 and has way more to give you. All of the same options are here and available right after the intro tutorial level. The only thing you don't get that New Gundam Breaker gives you is customization of your inner frame. But you can ignore that your entire time playing and it's barely noticeable. You know what else is gimped in New Gundam Breaker? Builder's parts. I forgot to mention this in the last video. Thanks ZeroReverseR1 on Reddit for telling me this, but builder's parts in New Gundam Breaker allowed you to add different stats to your Gunpla while taking away others. For example, putting a horn on your Gunpla can give you more melee damage while taking away range damage. These parts can be anything from missile pods or a huge ass sword. Neither of these you can actually use. All of these things you pile onto your Gunpla in New Gundam Breaker are unable to be used, while in Gundam Breaker 3 you can use every builder part you put on, which is just better in every way. You put on a builder's part and boom, you can equip the skill that it gives you. If you equip a hand grenade, you can use it. A hyper beam, you can use it. Some builder's parts give you access to an entire other set of combo attacks that you can do. This game is so fully loaded with options to customize your Gunpla with that I was dumbfounded at how much New Gundam Breaker brought over and fucked with for no reason. New Gundam Breaker on its own is a good customization system, but compared to Gundam Breaker 3, it loses. Not terribly, but it is still a loss. Okay, now one place where the comparison gets a little harder to determine the winner in is the graphics, and honestly, I don't know. Gundam Breaker 3 obviously does a better job with its action, and its polish is unbelievably higher than New Gundam Breaker's, but in terms of just sheer looks, I can't say that Gundam Breaker 3 looks strictly better. They are both good looking in different ways. Like I mentioned in the previous video, New Gundam Breaker is a more toy-like portrayal, with the smoothness of the Gunpla and the simple stylization of the environments, while Gundam Breaker 3 aims for a more realistic portrayal of Gunpla. The models look very real, but not lifelike realism, but rather a gritty imitation of realism. One example I can turn to is the metallic setting for the colors in both games. All of the color options are the same in both games, almost identical actually. and the metallic setting allows you to make your gunpla all shiny and whatnot. But in New Gundam Breaker, the metallics actually look easier on the eyes due to the simplicity of it. But in Gundam Breaker 3, the metallics look very detailed. Being able to see all of the realistic reflection was also appealing too. Overall, both games look high quality, but they both accomplish different goals in that aspect. If I had to choose one that I like more, Gundam Breaker 3 by a long shot. Yeah, New Gundam Breaker nails the look it was going for, but Gundam Breaker 3 is older and will age more gracefully than New Gundam Breaker ever will. This is also true in the gameplay as well, and wow, Gundam Breaker 3 puts this thing down, flips it, and reverses it. Is this? And wow. New Gundam Breaker is a bunch of bull. Gundam Breaker 3 in terms of gameplay feels like it was the one that was supposed to be the complete overhaul, but it wasn't. This game came out first. This game feels like it was made with life or death in the balance. This game plays amazingly. From the moment I started playing, I felt how much love and care was put into these systems. First things first, there is no XP to gain. You go in as strong as you were in the main menu, and you don't have your skills locked off as well. In New Gundam Breaker, not only were your skills locked off until you got enough XP to unlock them, but they were also on cooldowns. In Gundam Breaker 3, you only have cooldowns, and your skills are attached to your parts as well, but in this game there's a twist. In New Gundam Breaker, your gunpla could only perform the skills that you applied, but in Gundam Breaker 3, if your gunpla parts are naturally equipped with weapons by default, you can use them. Shin Musha Gundam has all of these sweet weapons on its back, and you can use every single one of them in a combo, and using them is no different from using an item. Another thing about weapon skills is that you can level up each individual part. So if you're using a weapon a lot, you'll get a bunch of weapon skills from it, and if you want to switch to another weapon of that same type, you can keep all of those skills equipped and not lose any stats from the weapon switch. And all of that is before you even move! As soon as you lock on, it is much more focused on one target. But the lock-on area is much more forgiving with switching targets. If there are multiple targets in your lock-on area, the cursor will switch to them and your area will stay put, allowing you to attack whoever you want without pounding your head into the pavement because the lock-on's stuck to a crate behind a wall or something. And crates aren't even in this game! Attacks are also able to be cancelled into your jumps and your dashes. So if you want to knock an enemy into the air and jump after them instantly, you can do that! You can even chain multiple EX skills in the air, and if you lose them and they fall to the ground, you don't have to wait for them to get back up, which was a very annoying issue in New Gundam Breaker. Another annoying as hell thing in New Gundam Breaker that I can't believe I was ever okay with was being restricted to only holding 5 parts at a time. Now, I get it, they were trying to make it more based on your team supporting you while you deliver parts instead of it being a largely solo experience like in Gundam Breaker 3, but if you aren't playing with anyone, you're just waiting for your AI partner to stop playing hide the monkey with the Rig Dias across the map and deliver the goddamn part that they picked up by accident. It's restrictive, it's artificially hindering progress, and worst of all, it wasn't like this in Gundam Breaker 3 at all. It was a much more traditional system in the sense that you had no part limit, and every gunpla had the chance to drop a part from that specific gunpla unless it's a boss fight. Then they can drop a variety of parts, including the parts attached to it. Now you may ask me, but Kinzie, how do you know what Gundams are gonna spawn? In New Gundam Breaker, it was all random, but in this game, they tell you right there, which is godlike. Because if you don't want another bajillion parts from Victory Gundam, you don't have to get them. That makes the grind awful in New Gundam Breaker, but here, not so much. You have to do more collecting, but once you get enough parts, you can buy the full set for very achievable prices. Gosh, with all of this good shit in the game, you'd think it was perfect. And it is, motherfucker! No, not quite. Let me humble this game a little bit. The mission structure is still kinda ass. The one thing I can give to New Gundam Breaker is that while its missions can get repetitive, for someone with a short attention span at least, those missions will at least keep them occupied. In Gundam Breaker 3, there's none of that. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you don't like hack and slash or Gundam, you are very likely to get bored with just killing things. Gundam Breaker 3 really hopes that you get swept up in the grind, because once you get past all of the perfection, it gets rather thin. Now, if you do like it, however, these problems just kinda go away. but only being able to choose between kill a bunch of Gunpla, or kill a bunch of Gunpla so you can kill their Nexus, or kill a bunch of Gunpla so you can kill the Big Daddy Gunpla, makes it really easy to take breaks. In short bursts of grinding, Gundam Breaker 3 is probably at its strongest, but in a marathon, it could probably do the opposite to someone and turn someone away from the lack of variety. And while I hope that doesn't happen for those that hear that this game is amazing and the definitive Gunpla experience, it's very possible. I wasn't expecting to have to shut off my brain, but button mashing does have that effect on me sometimes. It's still a blast whenever I go back to it, but those times, unfortunately, are finite. So, with all that being said, how do I feel about this game? Playing it right after New Gundam Breaker, I thought it was unreal that they would make some of the changes that they made, but the mission structure and the sheer repetitiveness of the combat in long bursts can grind on the patience of some, I'm sure. But let's get to the skinny of it. Is this game better than New Gundam Breaker? Absolutely. Gundam Breaker 3 costs just about $50 for the Break Edition, and it is the most complete package that you can ask for out of both of these games. The combat is a vast downgrade in New Gundam Breaker, and the change was so stark in the presentation, mechanics, and overall style that I didn't even feel like New Gundam Breaker deserved to be in this series at all. It feels like an entirely different type of game, a game made by somebody who didn't even know how to hold Gundam Breaker's jock. However, if you don't want to drop the full price for an import, settling for New Gundam Breaker isn't really shortchanging yourself either. It goes for about $15 at your local GameStop or EB Games, or hell, check out a mom and pop shop and see if you can get it there. Because for that low price, you are getting a Gunpla battle experience that is fun in its own way. And that's okay, you know. I guarantee that if you can get past the mediocrity of this game, you can at least get your $15 worth making a couple of Gundams and meeting these wonderful ladies. But if you do get Gundam Breaker 3, be prepared to play it for a long time, because the longevity of it and the potential to play it is undeniable. I feel like it was made with player's choice in mind, and it respected the time I spent with it every single time.
Not much to say this time around. I like the game, and I don't think I've changed my opinion on it, so this video will speak for me in this case.
First things first, my favorite Gundam is Turn A. Not because I like butterflies, but because I like androgynous pretty boys that sometimes get a little too pretty. Why do I say this? Because Gundam Versus is a game that gives me that and then some. I've owned this game for about a year or so, and I only played it very briefly, so this video will only be partly retrospective, because as I came back, I almost didn't know what game I was playing. So, let's get to it. We aren't playing with Gunpla anymore. This is Gundam, baby. Hey, future me, while you're busy binge watching Daria, can you not take a month to put this one out? Okay, thanks. Oops. Okay, so before we get to the game itself, there's an elephant in the room that must be paid attention to, and that is Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme Versus. This is an earlier version of the Versus games, and it was a Japanese exclusive as well. I got it from a friend all the way back in middle or high school or something. While I don't know what happened to it, if you want to know my opinion on it,
I liked it.
And as far as the full boost version goes,
I probably would have liked it.
I couldn't read Japanese back then, and using the circle button to select options was completely foreign to me at that time. Needless to say, setting up the match was complicated, but once I did that, the game was a fun time. Now, for the main attraction. I brought up Turn A earlier because that suit is the grand majority of the gameplay you'll see. While there are like 100 plus suits in the game after DLC, Turn A is the one that I chose to play the game with for this video. I can assure you all though that the same amount of accuracy they paid to Turn A is evenly distributed to the entire base cast. All of the suits felt great to play. Small thing here that might turn a minority of people off from buying is that G Gundam is DLC. Master and God Gundam, known to us as Burning Gundam in the States, are behind a paywall. While it doesn't bother me personally, someone's potential favorites being behind a price kinda sucks, I feel. I'd have hated to have paid for Turn A, so I can only imagine G Gundam fans being upset. But the main roster is pretty sizable, so your next favorite couldn't be too far away. If that did turn you off while the game was full price, I totally understand, but now the game being this many should be a little easier to accept. Now, when I came back, I knew I would be a little bit rusty, but this game is easy mode. Let's just jump straight in and kick some metal ass. Oh. I picked turn A and my striker baby boy ball and went in head first. I was doing relatively okay for the amount of rust I had accumulated. Then these 3 boys came in and ganked me. While I knew the bare bones mechanics, I had forgotten the majority of the advanced tech and I got bodied. Regardless of that, the mechanics are freaking solid and the weight strikes this perfect balance between speed and heaviness. Even if the mechanics are airtight, this game will punish you for not knowing how to use them properly. And that's good, because after losing this easy level mission, I took my ass straight to the tutorial, and that is the first thing this game does very well. This game wants you to get better, and the tutorial is perfect for this. This game doesn't treat you like a battle royale does, where you have to learn by repeatedly failing against others. This game wants you to cultivate your skills with its few single player modes so that you're ready for the online. But I'll get to that one later. So, after the tutorial, I was better prepared overall, so I went back into the fray. This time into the ultimate battle mode. This game mode is different from the previously shown trial mode, which I'll cover in a little bit. Ultimate mode is basically survival mode. You choose a suit and you go through waves of Gundams that try to stop you from progressing. When you finish a certain amount of waves, you spend points to upgrade your stats for the run and refill your health. This is the mode I feel is more casual and will be more enjoyable for those that like small gaming sessions. It can be as long or as short as you want it to be, and it has some pleasant surprises sprinkled throughout. They even let me play as Big Zam, and I was all like, "Hey, Big Zam!" I googled it, and from what I understand, this was also a rare occurrence. Even more things can happen, and you can even play as DLC suits. Ultimate Battle was a thoroughly good time, and most likely where most time will be spent. The mode that I liked not as much is Trial Battle. Trial Battle is a much more restricted mode where it's focused on the suit that you play. They give you a small cutscene before the trials and then you complete missions which basically boil down to "You hero, go kill!" A big problem I had with this mode back then and now is that when you quit a trial you have to start from the very beginning of the entire line of missions and you can't select the mission you left off on. You can't even scroll to see the mission you left off on. You either complete it in one sitting or you don't, and I don't really like that. But if that's more your speed, then that problem may not even be a thing for you. Oh, that's it. That's all the purely single-player offerings the game gives you. And while these are really meant to prepare you for the online, if you value single-player experience, you may have to use your imagination for some of these to keep things fresh, because killing Gundams is all you're going to be doing for a while. All that's left is free battle and the online. Free battle allows you to create a team of you and an ally versus 2 enemies. Here you can set up dream Gundam matches that haven't happened in the show, and when you inevitably get bored of that, the online is left. And that, let me just give it to you straight. You're gonna be seeing a lot of this, and this. Not to mention, the online being segmented like this means that a mode that you will want to play will be more deserted than my Best of the Best Girls of My Hero video. I actually find it pretty funny. You should all check it out. It took me a long time to find a match in my mode of choice, and when I searched again, I found the same person. This game is more or less dead from what I can tell, and since the game is really meant as practice for the online, what can you do? The game is fun and all, and don't get me wrong, I completely demolished that dude. Wow! But after that, the only thing I could find left to do was this. And that's pretty fun. But after that, what's left? Online isn't popping, single player gets old, and free battle is really only good for multiplayer if you want to play it longer than 30 minutes, and that's it. It hurts to say, but the enjoyment is over just as soon as you feel it. This was a very fun experience, learning all of these mechanics again, being able to use them against bots that could cream me, and even going online and winning? That was fun, but then that fun was over. When I covered the 2 Breaker games, I focused on the single-player experience of both while glossing over the online, because I knew that the games were older and most likely would not be as populated, and the single-player for those games can carry those games pretty far. Here in Gundam Versus, the online is the reason to play this game long-term. It has versus in the title. It is a reasonable assumption to say that it is a competitive game. But with no push from the developers and no reason to stick around, this one is just dealt a bad hand. It is very fun, trust me. You will get a lot of mileage out of simply playing your favorite suits and killing a bunch of Gundams with them, and this game is freaking beautiful. Have you seen these models? They look amazing. But how long will that last you? I have no idea, but fun is fun at the end of the day. I most likely won't revisit it anytime soon, but trying it out at least once is what this game deserves. The game is here for a good time, but unfortunately, not a long time. Hey cute bitches, just wanted to let everyone know that I am now streaming Wednesday from 6 to 8-ish Central Standard Time. I play pretty much anything and my streams have been super fun and the interaction is lovely. I have a playlist of VODs available on my channel and all are ad-free, meaning you can sleep to them if you want to. The list will keep growing and that is a way to consume content while waiting for my videos. Now back to the compilation, hey hey hey! Okay, now this one is a special case. I am not adding the original video into this rotation because I have updated my thoughts on it in a video coming up later. Instead, I'm gonna add some lost media of me playing the most recent PC Network test from January. The audio is kinda scuffed, but I feel like that, besides the video coming later, is the most definitive opinion I can show on this game. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Why do people like this? I just don't get it. There's so many other games. Like, oh my god, this fucking control is so ass. Right? Oh my god, let's see what I got. Hey, I got Gerber Tato. I think it's only fair to play a match. I think it's only fair. Only fair.
Welcome back, pilot.
Damn it, Tenda.
What is here? Take here. Take here. Take here. Take here. Take here. Take here. Take this. That should be all you need to know.
Take this. Take this. Oh my god. Oh, stop giving me things. What are you talking about? What are you, a raid type? Oh, you're a raid type. Whatever the fuck that means. Oh, they have sensitivity for mouse? Just bump that shit all the way up. Hurry up, Anchor. I got shit to do. People to disappoint. Oh, he's using the FAG, baby. Can't say what that is. I just want to see what it's like. I bumped up the sensitivity. I really hope, because they had sensitivity. They did not have sensitivity in the console version, so I wonder how it's going to affect it here. And it might actually make it a lot better. Who knows? Who knows? I could be wrong, and I'll probably have to eat that. Okay, it's kind of... Okay, bet. I might just be out of my element. Bruh, are you serious? Oh my god, this clunky piece of shit game. Oh my god. Oh, whatever. It's not their fault. It's my fault. But I'm like, I get spawned. Like, what is this, Call of Duty? Like, I get spawned in front of a fucking Cubile. Game is hard. It's always been hard. The thing is like, it's been hard, but it's clunky as fuck. I just don't understand how. I just don't see why people like it. I really don't. Oh, see, now you running because it's Jump Street, but at first you was acting weird, bro. First you were acting weird, but now it's not Jump Street no more. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. You really think that you're gonna fucking do that to me in this fucking place? Like, I own this fucking building. I own everything in here. I paid for your fucking tuition, bitch. You're not gonna get shit. And I know that if I ever did post this, I probably will, probably won't. It'll basically just be like, oh, but you used the bomb dock. You're really supposed to use the fucking Super Zuku Gundam. Oh yeah, but this is Gundam, so it's like, it has to be fucking clunky, unwieldy, and terrible like every other Gundam game. Just terrible. Even though every Gundam game I've looked at has been the exact opposite of this garbage. And people have agreed. Oh, it's almost over. Thank God. Free me from this hell. Just please. And everybody's using Cubile. I'm assuming it's because Cubile is really good or something, but I won't know because I don't have the bitch. Got it. I got the Zoc. The fucking cock. Let's go. I got the cock. And I got the Draw C. I have them on console. See, that's what I'm talking about. The Zoc is a 3-star in this game. I don't know what the fuck a Zoc is. Supply drop time. Right. Come on, another Zaku Bazooka. Got the Goof. Got the GM Light Armor. Got the Zoc. Got the 4-barrel. Got the Brick. Got GM Light Armor again. What the fuck? The Zaza. Gerber. Yeah, recycle that shit. I don't want that. I just want the Cubile so I can start winning. Zaku 2? Hey, Zaku did nothing wrong, baby. Blow. Okay. Ah, Blue Destiny. That's cool. I got the GPO 2. Cool. Pop.
Keep it going.
Pop.
Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going.
Ooh, that's good.
Let's keep it going.
Full armor 7th. Oh, that's good. I guess, whatever. It's just this gacha does nothing for me. Like, it does nothing. Here, take here, take here, 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 here. Hey, Peter, did you pull from the mission control yet? Yeah. Agony. Never want to repeat it. Never ever. Just in case this becomes a thing, never ever want to play this game again. Never ever. For real this time. I know I said it before, but I'm saying it right now. This was terrible. Yeah. Bye-bye. Okay, this one's gonna be kind of off script because I have no idea what's gonna come up next. On my video on MAXIBOOST, I actually did 2 things. I did live commentary over my first games in the game at the beta test and my overall thoughts on the single player content. And I want to add both, but I also split that initial video up into 2 parts because of that. So I might include the full thing, I might not. Either way, you're gonna know how I feel about MAXIBOOST right after I say this. I know this might be kind of weird, but I'm gonna start with the character select screen. I spent a lot of time here going back in time. It was truly crazy to me seeing Haman Karn in 2 outfits instead of the usual one. Seeing Camille Biden really brought me back. The presentation is just really damn good. They highlight every suit by their series, and you can select suits by series or by individual suit, and that was really nice. They show the pilot and the suit in a really stylized fashion here, and wait, Pli and Pli 2? Nah, these are Puru and Puru 2. Let's get that straight right now. 10 out of 10 character select, let's move on to the gameplay. As per usual, I picked turn A for this one to see how the gameplay would measure up to my previous versus experience, and well, it's largely the same. I can't really say that anything blew my mind when it came to how different something was. I did notice one thing that I didn't know I'd miss, and that is the fast fall maneuver from Gundam Versus. I'm not sure if that's something that they flat out removed or I just didn't do it, but I really liked being able to reach solid ground quickly instead of falling at normal speed. Besides that though, the controls are literally just as amazing as they were in Versus. However, this game felt faster, like they took off some weight, and I loved it. Plus, they kept that silly flying thing that you can do on turn A, and Loran screaming, and they put him in spaghetti straps, and lord, I think I'm Maxi about to simp. In all seriousness though, the gameplay was top quality and is in my opinion perfect for release. The formatting for the single player trial battle is also much better, except here it's called branch battle, and branches they definitely are. Instead of looking kinda sloppy as it did in Versus, this one looks much more stylish, showing you plenty of paths and letting you select at your own discretion. This made me so happy to see, because while it's not a huge problem, I am a sucker for the little things, so yeah, this kinda rules. Well, that is about as far as the single player offerings in the beta go. I enjoyed my time with it, and if they keep the random events in from Versus and add more than branch battle, then I'm already a fan of this new installment.
Now with this one, I covered the demo, which isn't a bad thing looking back because to be very honest, there was no way I would have been able to cover the full thing in a way that I would have been proud of. But I'm proud of this one because it covers just enough to know how I would feel if I had access to the other campaigns. And I've gotten a few comments recently asking me to cover this game, and I already did 2 years ago, so here you go again. Now, as you all may know, CrossRays is nothing like the Gundam games that we've been looking at in the last videos. It's nothing like Battle Operation 2 where the Gundams feel like they're walking through elephant cum, and nothing like the Versus games where the gameplay makes me wanna cum. Nah, this game is a whole different beast entirely. It's a real-time strategy game in the same vein of Fire Emblem, Disgaea, or any other game that requires you to sacrifice some of your lifespan in order to stay sane while you watch your units get digged down because you accidentally moved in one wrong spot. Yeah, this is one of those. But that's not a problem, really. It's just different. Being different is fine as long as you do it right. Now, the question is, does CrossRays do it right? And let's get to the story mode and find out. Whoa. There's a few stories here. And the stories that are available to me provide a decent chunk of the experience to try. I've heard that this is actually a huge gutting of the content you get in the full version, but for someone like me, who is very casual about how much I know about these stories, it's fine for me. And to be honest, nowadays, a lot of games aren't even as long as this demo, so I'm glad that they gave me multiple chapters to bite into for the free. I'm gonna go ahead and start with Mobile Suit Gundam Wing Dual Story
G-Unit? Wait a minute, what kind of game is this? The mission they provided me in this story was named a mobile suit called Gym and Ass. This game does not make it easy to grow up. So starting this story, the first thing I noticed was the visual novel control deck at the bottom of the screen. My first thought? How long is this cutscene about to be? Real long, bitch! So strap in, cut that auto scroll on, and you better get your riff on! For those of you without a childhood, RIF is an acronym for Reading is Fundamental. Luckily, this story in particular was easy to understand. 5 Gundams attacked Earth, and after some political mumbo-jumbo, the colony named MO5, which I like to call Movie, were developing different secret suits that would get them Warwick ganked by the war if they were ever found out about. The main character that you will be controlling here is named Odin, piloting the Gemini ass during a mock battle. Naturally, you lose to the Chad relative, but what I didn't expect were these freaking amazing cutscenes. Like, what the hell? And these aren't like a few and far between or nothing like that. You get these scenes every time you attack, and that's incredible for a game with these cute retro style graphics. The game stays very faithful to its genre, and that is muy delicioso. Shortly after Odin got fucky-wuckied, he ran into a suit that wasn't a part of Movie. So naturally, this is the first fight. This first fight came with some interesting situations. Keep in mind that I do not blame the game for what you are about to hear. I will take every L. First, they have victory conditions and challenge conditions. The challenge for this fight was simple enough. Kill this tutorial guy in 5 turns. Easy clap. But then my dumbass thought that the highlighted area was my movement spaces instead of the squares, and I wasted turn after turn moving like 2 spaces at a time, and needless to say, it took way more than 5 turns. Whenever you end a turn though, this plays. That's cute. You can't even imagine how hard I laughed seeing the enemy move like 1 space and then they play this grand fanfare. Fucked me up something serious. Big ups to them for doing that. Combat itself isn't just walk up to thing and beat to death. You have a couple options that you can select rather than it being just a random response. You can either counter with your own attack while receiving damage in the process, defend to receive less damage, or try to evade to mitigate damage altogether. All of which come with their own cutscenes, and they are all sickeningly cool. And they even let you skip these cutscenes if you want to, allowing for much easier repeat playthroughs. After a few attacks, we beat this jobber, and realizing his embarrassing loss, decides to become as a god and game end himself. Turns out that expendable asshole belonged to these people. Broom Brooks, who looks like a villain from Pokemon, Kratz Sylvie, who looks like a villain from Danganronpa, and Roshin Tano, who looks like a villain from my wet dreams. Shortly after more good guy talk and bad guy talk, here's another battle, this time introducing a new mechanic. I haven't seen this in any other RTS that I've played from my memory, but in this battle you have a ship with a health bar that holds units inside it, and you can sortie units from this ship to use them to attack the infantry on the field, and you can also attack on the ship as well. I liken it to armatizing in Tales of Zestiria. You can be as one unit with a massive health bar, or split up and have more attacks, more turns, and more ways to defeat the opposition, not to mention more cutscenes to watch. In this mission, you're supposed to protect the ship that is trying to get away from the Saturday Morning Cartoon Brigade, and that didn't happen. I lost. Next story. The next mission is called Red and Blue and takes place during year 70 after the Bloody Valentine event. This story is also taking place during a war, and humans are constantly at odds trying to preserve their ways of life. The main characters of this one are a junk dealer named Kisato Yamabuki, another named Lo, and a third person named Liam Garfield. And I already like this story more than the last. I have a small thing for small resistance groups that have to rely on themselves for survival. They just collect garbage to fix their shit, man. I love that. They even ride in on bulldozer looking suits, like come on, that's so cute. Their dialogue here really shows what kind of people they are, and I mean that very literally. They are who they are. Trash collectors. While the two sides of the war, Earth Alliance and ZAFT, are fighting, they go in after and collect the spoils. They don't really have much of a dog in this fight, and Liam and Lo both know this, but Kisato feels uneasy about this fact. That dynamic is rich for character building, and I love that kind of stuff. Now, since I actually knew what I did wrong in the last fight, this challenge was a cakewalk. Kill the enemy with Lo's beam rifle. Once again, I thought this was an easy clap until I realized that 70% is much lower than 100%. I took shot after shot and I missed again, and I missed, and I had a dream that I missed, and then I woke up and then I missed. Damn, I've had better odds in Mario Party 2. But eventually I killed them, and they pulled a Dr. Eggman and tried to kamikaze me. To be honest, this kinda goes the same route as the last story, but with different characters, and moving right along, this fight was pretty much the same as the fight from the last story, except this one is about Guy piloting the suit instead of Lo. But the flow of this fight was better since you don't have to escort anyone this time around. You just kill units. Much better of a mission to learn the ropes than thumbing ass over there. Until I let the silver hair die and I lost next story. Damn, I suck at this. Last story I'm gonna look at for this video is the double up. Yeah, I don't like your face. The last story I'm gonna look at for this one is the IBO Gecko story, because he looks nicer. And oop, I found the best girl! Now for this story, I will say that the music is saucy as fuck. And the name Daddy Ted made me drop my drawers a little. We come into this story hot and ready with the MC Argy brandishing a fucking gun. Seriously, with negotiations like these, who needs Gundam, am I right? The beginning fight for this one was even more straightforward than the last one. Just kill the Triana in 2 turns. Easy clap. Next fight has me placing a ship and another team next to me while I have to fight an army of goons. Yeah, I see where this is gonna go. Yep, I fucking died. Let's just finish this shit. These 3 stories all taught me something very important. That even though the fundamentals of anime-style RTSs are pretty much the same, I can still get bodied harder than an Aurelian Soul fighting an Akali, or a competitive Smash player fighting the justice system, but even still, no RTS has been this flashy, stylish, or even this deep with story that I've seen. And for that, I truly think this game cements its place within the Gundam game discography, and will sit beautifully in my Gundam folder on my PS4 dashboard.
Hey Kinsey, this isn't a Gundam game, it's Super Robot Wars. Just because there's mobile suits in it doesn't mean it's a Gundam game. This is false advertising.
So this game starts off with a banger. Like literally, this introduction made me hyped as shit to get ready to read the end user license agreement, and the presentation is also much cooler than what I experienced previously. In CrossRays, the menu is just a basic menu to get you from point A to point B, but in this game, this menu takes place in space, which is much better aesthetically and makes it much more interesting to get from point A to point B by. See what I did there? The first thing I looked at was the library. When I start on a game for the first time, for some reason I just can't play the damn game. I want to fully immerse myself in what this game is trying to show me, and for a demo, this is a lot of stuff to bite into. You have descriptions of characters, the different types of mechs that are displayed in the game, and even the series that are displayed have their own options as well. Unfortunately, they don't let you select the first few options, but I can say that as far as these types of games go, I can assume what they hold, so no hard feelings there. They do let you venture into the series introductions, however, and while I knew that Cowboy Bebop was featured, I also saw the familiar Gundam series and Gunbuster. I know nothing about the mechas outside of Gundam, however, Gunbuster 2 has that amazing song Groovin's Magic, and therefore, I am a fan. Yes, my pool is that shallow. Not to mention the music, it's so nice right here. Overall, the library serves its purpose well, and I can easily see fans of these different series being very happy with what they're given in the full game. Hell, just seeing G Gundam represented was enough for me to be happy. But now that we've covered the supplemental material, now it's time to put those books away and for me to get into the raw thoughts. For you all to know how I felt, we need to start from the beginning. Let's jump into that story. The first thing I'll say is that I much prefer linear narratives over choosing from multiple smaller stories. It helps to keep me focused and overall makes more sense to me. And this game is a linear narrative with a character for you to play as that you can set as male or female. Naturally, I went with the girl because guys aren't canon, and her name is apparently supposed to be Sagiri Sakurai. My first reaction was, and yeah. You saw this coming. And my nickname, of course, is Pins. My birthday is blah blah blah, and blood type is let's get it. Okay, so I'm not even gonna front. I had a hard time following the lore dump right here. It didn't bother me or anything, I just couldn't really have an opinion on anything I heard. But as soon as characters started popping up, Jesus! Best girl has been spotted. My mind will not be changed. I repeat, my mind will not be changed. You play as Joanna Dark in the VTS Weapon Test Facility. You are the manager of Special Section 3. From what I could gather, this is effectively where they kick people to from other sections, almost like a permanent detention. I won't say this is a ragtag group like in the last game with the trash people, because while they are your team members and while you are their manager, they don't know you. So I wanted to make a little bit of a clarification. When I said that they don't know you, it's very obvious that they know you in some regard because the dialogue directly is stating, as y'all are looking at it, that they know you in some way. They just don't know you as a person that they've worked with, just what they've heard and rumors and whatnot. But I just wanted to clear that up just in case anyone wanted to put that in the comment section. They do know you, just not personally or as a working partner. Okay, back to the video. And they have their own thoughts about you as you come to discover throughout the introduction. And also, I won't discriminate, Hirosuke Amazaki is best daddy, and don't worry, there's always enough food on my table for everybody. Actually, all of these characters are pretty cool. Meryl is your short introductions type of person who doesn't really seem to be fond of taking shit. Ami's is the cute character that needs protecting, even though she's kind of defensive, and Rami Amazaki, who is Hirosuke's daughter and has secrets of her own. To be honest, I like this dynamic, where everyone has their own little quirks about them that become more relevant later on. Not much of the dialogue is wasted here. I was enthralled the whole time just getting to know these characters, almost more than Joanna herself. After a bit more lip action from these characters, they get an alert which basically prompts the first battle, and this is where the presentation takes not a nosedive, but you know when a plane like slowly loses altitude? This environment is just ugly. I'm sorry, but this just doesn't look appealing to me. And CrossRays honestly has a lot to do with that. The color choices in CrossRays were much more vibrant whether they were in space or on land. Not to mention the details were also just a little more paid attention to. In Super Robot Wars T, this looks only slightly better than the early Disgaea games on the PS2, right down to the solid red movement panels. This just wasn't what I was expecting after the very detailed character sprites and the great introduction. It's not like this is a deal breaker or anything, these are just my thoughts immediately jumping into this right after CrossRays, which is in the same genre and was more appealing to the eye. But let's be real here, even I know that graphics barely matter in this game. It's about the action-packed gameplay sequences and the character interactions. So how is that? Fucking awesome! Literally, my first attack felt so good to do. The attack animations are sharply animated and done with sprites instead of grandiose 3D cutscenes, which I felt was much more appropriate and kept me in the action and made me want to watch every single one. The dialogue happening as text instead of feeling like a cutscene felt much more like I was playing a game instead of watching one. Not to mention, the dodge animation in this game is a huge vibe. More or less though, the game's flow of combat is the same as CrossRays. Yeah, it looks more complicated with all this talk of SR points and intuition, which I didn't really pay any attention to, but really, I made it through this battle just by pressing the fuck you button, which was serviceable, but a tiny bit of strategy would have been fine. Once again, can't really fault the first mission for this, since I'm fairly certain this was meant to introduce you to the gameplay, so yeah, let's just call this a comparative observation. Soon after you kill more units, this epic guy shows up. Because I didn't know who the hell this was, but I knew he wasn't of this world because the art style looks older than me, I googled him, and yes, this is a crossover guy from King of Braves Gao Gai Gar, or as is said in the Nihon, Yusha o Gao Gai Ga, and that's pretty neat. I can appreciate having people from other works come into my battles and our characters are like, oh god, look, it's 2B from that Nirwana Hakalugi game! So yeah, all you King of Braves fans, I see you, and you are valid. I also saw all of their attack animations too. Every time an attack had a sick-ass name, I wanted to see it, and they never disappointed, not even once. They even retained their art styles from the show in the battle scenes, and they use old music from way back when. All of this tickled me pink, made me excited to see what new characters and references I'd get to see later on. After that battle completes, we get to see that Rami has a different hair color. I don't know exactly what that means for Rami, but apparently the Tyranado is involved in some way, her dad is the reason for it, and me seeing it is a problem. Either way, this marks the end of the first scenario and the end of the story section. I did want to go longer, but I didn't want to hit a part of the story that would have gotten cut short by the demo limit, which is up to chapter 3. I will just have to revisit this one when I get the full thing. Hopefully that'll be sooner rather than later, but we'll just have to see, won't we? Overall, this game is quite the enigma. It kept me involved for as long as I played it, and while I feel like I've experienced all of what I wanted out of CrossRays, this game right here leaves me wanting more. Honestly, this is kind of where my videos find a certain flow, and I'm pretty proud of this one. As for the game itself, I still pretty much agree with the video, and I'm gonna include the intro because I think it's more or less good to have it here specifically since I add my thought process related to me covering it. Hi everyone, this is Unwavering Excitement. Gundam games come in many different forms. Fighting games, arena-based fighting games, beat-em-up games where you be fighting, and games that feature such characters as Rinko Iori, where the only thing you fight with is your own meat stick. But there's one single difference between these I just mentioned and the game we're gonna cover today. I've actually heard of the other ones. Yeah, Gundam has an old-fashioned turn-based JRPG, and it's not only above $100 used on Amazon, but this damn thing is so underrated that I can't even find solid sales charts. Resorting to the wiki only gives one sentence saying that it is the poorest selling PS2 Gundam game in Japan. Like, come on, it had to compete with... So naturally, when some cute-ass bitches in my comments tells me that this game is good, best believe my melanized ass is gonna find out why. Yeah, that's right. DDP, Ren LaRose, and the pink space pony, KinzieK is coming to collect those asses. Here's MS Saga: A New Dawn, starring Yuri motherfucking Lowenthal. So the game starts out trying to call me Tristan, but excuse me, we're gonna be Kins. So hold up, this is kind of funny. Why do they have like an arcade attract mode sequence for this tragic ass shit that's going on like it's Soul Calibur 2? Like, honestly, like families are actually rended asunder and then boom. Then right back to, that black guy will pay for his sins. Okay, but for real, the story is basically introduced with the redheaded step tween Kins and his boy toy Fritz, who reminds me of Pence, who reminds me of
A bouncer.
which reminds me that there isn't
A bouncer.
too. And then my dick weeps with sadness and depression pre. They head down a bridge towards an SD version of a gym, which they express that they have never seen before, which is the only way I'd ever get excited about seeing a gym. And then behind them comes this honorable soldier of ZEON ready to end these peasant children. Or that's what I would say if this were ZEONIC Front, but nah. Sasuke from Boruto's dad Shippuden and Pence hop in the gym and learn from just the manual how to pilot this mobile suit and try to fight back. This all happened in the span of like 10 minutes, by the way, and I appreciate that. Also in these 10 minutes, I caught on to like a billion other things, so let's chip away at them, shall we? Moving around is standard and feels fine, and the game doesn't look bad either. Actually, I'll take it one step further and say that my rose-tinted glasses are on tight as fuck and cutting off my circulation, because this type of 3D graphics reminds me of Star Ocean, and honestly, that is my hardcore bias, so I am inclined to say that this is perfect. For me. After this battle where I have to put down the Zaku, I'm also wondering if the attack button was in the manual too. This is the moment where the game grabbed me by my testicular domicile. You can collect other suits and their parts and use them to make yourself stronger. You can have this Frankenstein's monster of a suit with some juicy ass stats reminiscent of Gundam Breaker, and I love it. I love preying on the weak to make myself stronger, don't judge me. This is indeed a JRPG in every stretch of the acronym, and this game is a lot more like those types of games where you have to dig a tiny bit to get to the meaty shit, but when you do, the leveling up, customization, and personalization of your customization is baller as fuck. A certain cutie from the Cute Bitches Discord made a passing comment about the game that kinda summed that up in a way.
That was one of the things I loved about this game, is that you can just throw parts on. This was like Gundam Breaker before I played Gundam Breaker.
For a JRPG, this is pretty damn good. And out of the JRPGs that I have played from that time that I can remember, none have been this dedicated to the childlike desire to want to color your personal unit in any way you want. After that cutscene, you get to the first thing that may turn some people off, and for good reason sometimes. It's random encounter season, baby! Yeah man, this game has random encounters. Well, not really random, since they do that thing from SMT Nocturne, where they give you a small hint as to when you'll get ganked by a radar-looking thing, changing color from blue to when you're in a space that's safe from the JG, to yellow, which means you're good, to orange, to boom. I wouldn't mind having little SD blobs on the world map so that I could avoid battles, because, well, Let's get to those battles. For a decent amount of time, it's just attacking with your strongest weapon until you build up enough charge to use your special moves. You can give up a turn of yours in exchange for more charge on a later turn, or you can defend to minimize damage and just wait for more charge. All of your units and your enemies have classifications, but it is shown more clearly on enemies. If you straight up box a melee enemy, they can counterattack you, while ranged enemies can't. Your enemies can be better from range or in melee distance, and it'll show you up front which is which. And they even show you when they're about to use their special moves. The system works fine, but honestly, having played with more in-depth systems from that time period, I can only wish for things that I've gotten used to in other games of its ilk. As is probably obvious from what I'm showing you, this game isn't going for originality. Almost everything battle-wise is lifted from something else. The overworld makes me think of any Final Fantasy before 9, or just 9 itself. The battle system is also pretty close to those games, and if you told me that this was some kind of hidden gem Atlas game from these screenshots, I would have definitely believed you. Doesn't help that I've been playing Nocturne lately, and as a result I noticed some similarities. So eventually you make your way out of this cave to be met with the best character design that I ever did see. She is my type too, and apparently she's an older lady and her voice, oh my god.
So many lights!
Do you know what they are?
I swear this game just keeps fucking winning, yo. Goth GF supremacy now. Oh, he looks so mad. Cheer up, Luke Fabre from Tales of the Abyss. It'll be okay, I promise.
Stop! Are you trying to insult me?
I just love that he says like, oh, I won't get into fights, mom. And then immediately, like frame one. Fucking Pokemon Ash Ketchum looking ass. Damn, while he's piloting the gym, his mom is piloting the burning Gundam now, am I right? Am I right? Sorry for your loss. Wait. Who is this? Yosuke Hanamura from Persona 4. But without getting too far into the story, just know that it serves its purpose, and if you can get into the gameplay portion of this game, then this will serve as a decent Gundam-inspired traditional JRPG. And the fact that no one blew this up is kinda wild to me. Like, this was 2006. Like, what was even getting released in 2006 anyway? Oh my god. Oh my Well, shit, at least I know why this shit flew by the wayside in the States. If you're swinging on the same year as Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy, then you gotta bring more than a Heat Hawk, like, okay. Now, it's sad to say though that while I do like this game a ton, and it is one of my favorite Gundam games that I have played on the channel thus far based on sheer mixing up the Gundam game formula, compared to other JRPGs, it is definitely a little stuck in its ways. That doesn't make it bad at all, and sometimes that kind of game is my preference. Like seriously, I'm still holding out hope for Star Ocean 3 Remake, but it makes sense as to why this game was left behind, at least at the time. So if at least one person can get the same enjoyment that I did in the current day, then I did my job as a KinzieK. Hard job too, I do not recommend it. Yes, this is one of the best things I've ever made, period. I've covered 6 games in this one, and all of them will have chapters to their specific sections just like the original video. I even made my own personal intro for it, so yeah, I love this one. I'm including the full thing, even the intro and maybe even the outro. Either way, best thing you'll ever watch on my channel, maybe. I don't know how you function, but enjoy! Hi everyone! Help me. For clarity's sake, because I swear honesty is priceless nowadays, I am pretty much blind to the full list of games we're gonna look at today. So far, every Gundam game I've played for the channel has been on the last generation of consoles, with most of them appealing to shiny metal robot go brr. So why not go back to the dark ages of mass-produced horror and look at the most mixed reception looking ass era of these games, the PS2 Gundam games. On the surface of all of these covers and looking at no gameplay, I can't imagine why these games got so much flack from the professional Cuphead tutorial players and got really good reception from the die-hard fans. This harsh dichotomy between the journalist scores and the user scores bring me to only one early determination. PS2 Gundam games are kinda weird, aren't they? And we're gonna look at a handful of them. So, without further fuck shit,
Let's sortie, cute bitches!
Alright, here's how we're gonna do this, okay? Every game on this list has middle-of-the-road scores on Metacritic, so I think it'll be fun to look at them in order from highest to lowest, and compare my own experience with them and rank them in the actual order that they belong in, starting with Federation vs. ZEON. If I had to describe this game in any way, it would be solid. The intro comes in so smooth like a full-blown movie, but it's not even full motion video or anything, it's all in engine, and needless to say, I was very impressed. The narration is also the perfect bridge towards one of the best intro screens I've seen in a Gundam game yet.
Who will survive?
Ooh, that shit hit different. It just feels so much like a 3D episode of the show coming on, and bitch, lettuce in a bag of water in the middle of an African rainforest does not even compare to me when I was watching it for the first time. Needless to say,
That shit bussin'!
taking a look at these gameplay options as I pretty much expected, all of these are basically the same gameplay but in different forms. I decided to try arcade since I wanted a jump in and play experience first, and I wanted to get my ass kicked while learning the controls. That's how I learned M-Bon, and that's how I wanted to learn it here. Naturally, since this is Federation vs. ZEON, spoiler alert, ZEON always wins. Our pilot's name is KinzieK for this, because you are cute. Haha, got your cute ass. Each side of the verses has a roster of the more popular mass-produced suits, and I'm glad that this game allows Char himself to give me that Z-Got-Got combo. Ooh, that was bad. So anyway, Char is Gelgoog. And for the space battles, I picked ZEON because it is the only amputee I've seen playable in an arena-based fighting game. So I'll be an activist just this once. What? What is this music? That shot my experience up to about 100 out of 10, even though I was getting my ass blasted by a couple of granddaddies, and I'm just like, damn, I know why I date within my age range now. Aside from that, I was having a bunch of fun. I guess it's because playing the brand new Versus games and coming back to this one, I don't know, it just feels like I'm playing a piece of history here. Yeah, the new games obviously play better, but it's still just as rewarding to learn these mechanics here as they were to learn in the newer Versus games. Ground combat plays pretty well, not super clunky, yet not so fast to where it felt too unrealistic for the type of suits these are. And while I do prefer where Gundam games have progressed lately, this is great the way it is. Space battles are the same too, and I'm honestly surprised how good they managed to keep the camera controlled enough while still feeling like you're flying around in space. Your suits get flipped around, tossed, and everything like that, but not once did it feel uncomfortable to control. Honestly, as far as the core gameplay is concerned, I can't really complain. They just got it right. I would say that's as much fun as I had, but I'd be a filthy liar because playing Gan in this game is comparable to a breakthrough in therapy. Gan is literally the most fun I've had in any Gundam game I've played, right behind Nobel and MAXIBOOST. It's just so damn saucy. First of all, look at this damn Chad Wong. Look at this damn Aura. If I had known that they put Fiora in a game other than League, I would have played Gan first. Yet more evidence that ZEON did nothing wrong. I can already see why this game was the highest rated, and I haven't even talked about the story mode, but don't worry, it's just as cool as the regular game modes. The narrator starts off explaining how ZEON committed atrocities in the name of independence, and the Earth lost half its population, and oh my god, ZEON is so terrible. Did you not hear me a minute ago? Just make more babies, Fivehead. The fuck? Aside from that blatant propaganda, it serves as a tutorial basically. The first level has you walking around and taking on maybe 1 to 2 enemies at a time to give you a feel for the controls before you start fighting stronger suits, and it works. You play as a Gem for this too, which I mean makes sense in context, but honestly,
Fuck you, Jim! Fuck you!
So yes, this is what Federation vs. ZEON offers, and it more than lives up to its score, but where it really belongs so far is in front of its peers. Or should I say,
ZEONIC front. Already, there is less to look at in this game's intro. It reads your memory card, tells you who to blame for what you're about to see, and then shows you its logo in all of its blingy glory. Oh shit, was that too mean? I poke fun, but believe me, this game shines in its own way once you start playing. It immediately gets to teaching you how to play, and I'm glad it did, because this is one of those Gundam games. I'll say though, it feels fine. It's faster than I thought it would be, and the combat is pretty good overall. Yeah, it's kinda clunky, but I've become kinda numb to that, so I won't be up this game's asshole for it. Actually, I'll go on record and say I love this game's aesthetic. This game is a fucking Zeon game, and it feels like it. No joke, everyone that speaks in this game is ready to fucking conquer.
We will conquer North America to establish a base from which we can move to take over Jaburo.
No sense of humor, nobody smiling, it's all business. But let me tell you, this game gets a million times more fun when you get into the game because of this. Yeah, the average gameplay itself is your average morally ambiguous invasion, but for some reason, if you walk off the beaten path, they cut the music completely and just leave you there to ponder. Why are we here? I should say that while I have my fun, the type of gameplay may not be for everyone, and that's okay. But this game made me laugh plenty, and as a result, it at least deserves a piece of bronze. And while this game doesn't survive the encounters on the ground all the time, maybe Gundam will do better with encounters in space.
Good luck out there, KinzieK.
God, I hate this game. Okay, I'll play nice, but god damn it, I feel gaslit by this game. Here's how it went. The intro is much better than what was offered by ZEONIC Front, which was basically nothing, but hey, I call it like I see it, it's a damn good intro. It's not in-engine like Federation vs. ZEON, which allows them to basically do whatever the fuck they want with this. And they did. While not as impactful as Federation vs. ZEON, in my opinion, the action is much more full frontal this time around. See what I did there? That was a Gundam job! At this point, I'm completely sold. And it doesn't even end there. I went to the gallery before even playing anything, and goddamn, Ball ain't never looked so good! Actually, for a PS2 game that came out barely a year or so after the games we just looked at, bitch, I was living. This is RX-78. That is the RX-70 late. Oh yeah, and when I got to the extra suits, yeah, I preed. What of it? That was all I needed to say that this game was perfect, but then it hit me harder than a sock full of soap as soon as I started playing this shit. Holy hell, this is an on-rail shmup. How could they fuck this up? Oh, the answer's simple, you dumbass. Just pretend that using R1 and R2 to ascend and descend is a good idea. Everyone will hate you, guaranteed. Wait, you didn't want that? Well, oops, cause I hate you. Yeah, it just plays kinda dumb. Not bad, not good, just dumb. Kinda sucks too, because this is the first one in the lineup that prioritizes action and fast-paced gameplay. Let's just hope that anyone who liked this game enough to give it a 10 can't walk around their neighborhood without being on a list. What even is this garbage? The amount of thrusters it takes to make it through this journey is nautical, but let's save enough to make a journey to Jaburo.
Can you stop?
This one I actually own, but I've never played it, and Christ, I'm glad I didn't. The intro explains things similar to Federation vs. ZEON, and even uses the same song for its intro. The game uses straight up anime cutscenes and stills, instead of relying on the game's in-engine graphics, and as a result, this game is hilarious.
Young man.
But what really matters here is the gameplay, and this game is a massive clunker right off the bat. Controlling this game is just ew levels of fuck. And this was the first game where I couldn't handle it after a while. I quit. I know, I'm a little breedable bitch. White base is fucked, and I'm the reason why. I actually recorded me doing the white base protection mission twice, and the first attempt got corrupted, and needless to say, I got a little upset. Wow, so I failed this mission the first time and I didn't record it, because I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. But I was talking about how this game controls like absolute dog water, and that's very true. This game controls like absolute garbage. Stop blocking. Fucking get your stupid ass on somewhere. Stupid ass. Yeah, there we go. All hail Zeon, motherfucker. I'm out of bullet. I am out of bullet. They're trying to destroy white base. Oh, this mission just sucks. Oh, this mission blows. I hate this mission. The air shit, you know what? No. I'm done with that. I already did it one time. I hated it. Second time, I especially hated it. So
Next game. Let me just say that if you like this kind of control experience with Gundam, then go right ahead. I'm not saying you can't like cock and ball torture, but for me, not even the banger cutscenes could make me tolerate this horseshit. And no, not even Gundam bending his knees relative to the camera position could make me tolerate it. And I liked that way more than anyone else would. Cutscenes and bendy knees push it above encounters in space, but as far as I'm concerned, it's barely worth a damn. I don't have a pithy transition for this one, so the next game is Gundam vs ZETA Gundam.
ZETA Gundam, Camille, let's do it!
Okay, hear me out, because I really like this one, and it wasn't even a hard decision. The game feels like an older version of the Versus games we have now. It's fast, responsive, fluid, colorful, and overall, just a baller fucking game. The intro is short and sweet, and while I didn't like it as much as Federation vs. Zeons, it still shows off what kind of gameplay you can expect, and baby, I like that just as much. This is the more anime style of Gundam game that I enjoy, and it doesn't disappoint me. I recorded this game a total of 3 times for this video, and I even played it on my downtime. The game is just that good. Which makes me beg the question, what the hell is their problem? Out of all of these scores, this is the one I disagree with the absolute most. This one deserves a 75 at least. Encounters in Space can't even get Ascension and Descension right, and that got a higher score? Well, look no further, because this game is, while not the best one out of the bunch, damn close to it. Overall, this game is a solid Gundam versus game. And that actually makes me ask, is there even a such thing as a bad Gundam game? Really? As you all know, up to this point, all of these games are loved by many. Whether they are slow and clunky ones that people like, or the fast-paced ones that everyone should like, they all have their respective fan bases. And a hill I die on frequently is that I don't think any game can just be objectively bad, as long as there is like one person that'll tolerate what it doesn't do as well. Aside from the obvious candidates like shovelware or anything made just to make cash, these games were obviously made with a purpose, and that was to make Gundam fans happy in some way. So I repeat, is there really a such thing as a bad Gundam game? Personally, I think yes, it's fucking Seed Never Ending Tomorrow! Bitch, going into this, I had no idea how to explain my experience, because this is the lowest rated game on the list. So I went ahead and recorded my first moments. Oh yeah, look at Lacus! Lacus is best girl! I'm gonna get somebody on this to fucking agree with me.
I don't even know who that is. Easy 8. Sorry. I will ramble about the Easy 8. Best girl. Kind of obvious, but if we're already going down that road, I nominate Nobel Gundam. I'm not into 18-meter tall robots, but talks about the Zaku and its development until the sun dies. Zaku best babe. Everyone hates one of my wives, Lamau. Lacus is better than your Gundam waifu. Well, that part's true. Seed is better than UC. Get that hate train a-rollin'. Cosmic Era lore, better than UC lore. Keep it going. Future Century is better than Cosmic Era. Talk about how the best girl is actually the Dagger L. Okay, I started on the mission mode because I was under the assumption that all of these games would play the same, with encounters in space being an exception to the rule. So I hopped right in and God, this game is fucking lit. The first cutscene they showed me was definitely worth a few chortles.
Diving from outside the atmosphere. Wow, what a rush!
Oh god, why does he sound like that? What is this, the 4Kids dub? Come on. Yeah man, what a rush. What a rush, dude. I just hit a bowl before I hopped in this mobile suit, yeah. Cha. Hell yeah, shoot it up, sister. So then we jumped into the character select and I picked Gagali because, duh. It's here that the sheet gets lifted and we can finally see what this game has to offer. And, yeah, this game licks pure ballsack. Any developer that thought encounters in space was a mistake worth repeating shouldn't be trusted around sharp objects. Just take a look at how my very first gameplay experience went. Spoiler alert, this game gave me prostate cancer. Oh, this kind of controls like encounters in space. I didn't really like how that game controlled. Is there somebody behind me? What? Oh, this is like, oh my god. Okay, go back to the normal. Go back to normal, please. Oh my god, and it's inverted. Ooh, no. Select option. No. How do I can't invert? Oh god. Oh, so I have to do that. Oh my god, dude. Okay, so I have to, oh my god, that sucks. Oh, what the fuck is this? Oh, this sucks ass. I see it. Okay, thank god. Oh, thank fuck. Oh, this is, oh, I'm about to throw the fuck up. Oh. Ow, ow, ow. Oh, this sucks. God, stop flipping back and forth. Ew. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna have to use the D-pad because this, oh my god. Like, I'm not exaggerating. Like, this is like motion sickness to like the highest degree. Ah, ow. Oh my god, this is awful. Jesus Christ. This is awful. That was the worst. Oh my god, am I dead yet? Ow. Fuck you. This sucks. No way. They did not just sit there and make a game. Oh my god, my eyes hurt. So that was tripe. After that, I wanted to be charitable, so I went for it again, and lo and behold, the experience was different, but not by much. I learned to pronounce Atherin, which was a positive. Atherin? I kept saying Arthron, my bad. Atherin. But I wanted to truly see if this game was just awful all the time or depended on what mode you played. Nah, it still feels like being on the roller coaster in Final Destination. The camera is just inexcusable no matter what you do. If you stay locked on, that only fixes a small part of the problem until you leave the fighty mode and have to move around again. I didn't rage quit it like Journey to Jaburo, but the way this game goes from a reasonably entertaining time to needing Anison to continue leaves a much bigger impact on me than Journey to Jaburo. Even after this match where I just mashed the fuck you button the whole time, I left the game feeling drained and kind of ill. Both Encounters and Never Ending Tomorrow show off their best side first before becoming genuine agonizing experiences. And while I think Encounters is so bad, it barely avoids being something worse than itself. Act guy. Just act guy. Recently, I've gotten a few people defending this one in the comments saying that I should have taken my time with this one and I should have learned the ins and outs of it before I made a video. So let me clear it up since I clearly didn't the first time around. This is a first impression style video about Battle Assault 3 and Battle Assault 2, and I played it for a while despite that. No matter if I had played it for 1 hour or 100 hours, the game still would have been hot diggity dog shit. If you've been here for a while, you know how I feel about first impressions in games. Just don't be garbage for at least 30 minutes and I might stick with it longer. But if you're gonna be unapproachable from the start, well, then you got this video. If you don't like that, fucking sorry, I don't know. Oh, sorry not sorry. Hi everyone, this is
Battle Assault 3 featuring Gundam Seed.
So, Seed, right? The series that just can't catch a break from people. It's me, I'm people.
Oh my god, whatever, Destiny, Seed is trash anyway.
But apparently, Battle Assault 3 is a victim of that era of gaming, where the mentality of 3D better than 2D cause polygon count was rampant. But most times that is not true, especially here. Battle Assault 3, or Bat-Ass, released in 2004, is a perfect example of why you don't fix things that aren't broken, or else you start breaking shit. But hey, don't let me get too far ahead of you. I'm just as blind as you are. So let's start at the beginning and maybe we can crack this seed wide open. So let me be 100% honest, I'm just gonna say that this video is probably gonna last longer than the amount of content that they start you off with. So here we have the menu. Not really, but this is just unacceptable. Like, what the fuck is this? I understand having to unlock things in older games. Nowadays, we just call it DLC, but this game just locks everything. You only get mission mode and versus. So for people who may not care about the story, you have a whopping selection of one whole suit, and the rest of the available characters are just variations of that suit. Strike Gundam pretty much just has the same game plan across the board. And how did I find this out without an available practice mode in a fighting game? You basically have to fuck about in the versus mode hoping that the CPU lays off long enough for you to get your shit together. The mechanics themselves are basic enough. You have your standard light and heavy attack, which basically led to me doing this the whole time.
Well, the years start coming and they don't stop 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 coming and they don't stop
which was pretty effective, not gonna lie. Jump button, which leads to your thrusters, which opens up some pretty nutty movement options if you can take advantage of them. I really wasn't, but I mean, they're there, and if you put the practice in, I'm sure you can learn it at some point. And range, which didn't help me much unless I was playing the version of Strike that was meant for range. And oh, let me tell you, range is definitely the win condition on that thing. There's also some programming mechanic where you can play Tycho for a bit and level up your mobile suit during battle. What's the level for? I don't know, but I'm sure I'll figure it out eventually. And yeah, I feel like that's about as much as I can say when it comes to versus. The mechanics are the versus mode. You're gonna spend a lot of your time there. It's a fighting game, that's pretty much how it goes. And I feel like the more suits you unlock, if you care to unlock them, the more you have to play around with, and I feel like that's a fair place to end that segment off. But mission mode is a different story entirely. That was the mode where I started maulding, because my experience took a stroll down the hell world, and goddamn, no amount of ice could have calmed me down. I hate this game so much. I know that I feel like this was a plot. I feel like everybody who watched my other video was like, oh, Battle Assault 3? The other Seed game he played was really, really bad and he hated it. So let's just make him play another Seed game that's absolutely terrible. I don't know what's up with these Seed games. This mission is so unbalanced. They just have you fighting 2 AI. It's like Clash of Ninja or like Custom Robo, where you have to fight your... I didn't even know you could pick shit up. They give you 3 special attacks off rip. They give you 3 of these off rips so the AI can just straight up just spam them against you. And I won this one. I won this one. If he gets hit by any of this. Okay, so he's on his first leg. Look at my magic pixel, because they have you fighting 2 of them. And it's not enough to kill this thing. I hate you, Isaac Jewel. God, the amount of jewels it takes to put forth the effort to play this game is so bad. I hate this game. They treat it like it's just a mission that you failed, but it's like, this is like a boss fight. This is like in Dark Souls 2, where everything you fight is just like 3 copies instead of just 1 solid enemy. They make you just fight 3 like crazily stupid enemies, and this game doesn't even have a training mode. Like, every fight in this story mode has just been me cheesing the boss in one way or another. I could go on forever. Stop programming in front of me. Oh, thank goodness, I beat this. This was the worst mission ever. This was the worst mission. And I'm not even done. This was only like the 6th mission I've done. Like, this is probably not even the worst. What's stopping them from throwing 3 regular guys at me? But I have the high ground, Anakin. I have the high ground. Oh no, my health. I guess I should just use my patent pending my strike combo, because that's all I have to do if I'm up close. I only found this 4-hit combo today. I haven't gotten anything above a 4-hit combo other than my super move, and I only unlocked 1 mobile suit for that. I'm trying to press start. I'm not able to get out. I can't get out with anything. I have to start a mission and then quit, because they don't let you get out of this mode. Not only does this game suck, but they don't give you any options. They only start you out with 4. I've only done 3 of these. They were shooting me all over the maps. I didn't even do all of the missions that they gave me. I was just doing different parts. So they do the thing like Shadow the Hedgehog, where you can take all of these paths, but I've only done 3 and I didn't even finish the 3rd one. This is way longer than it has any right to be. They make you do so many more missions than it actually feels like. I'm not doing all of these. They only give you 3 modes. 2 of them are just fighting. It's mission mode, which you saw me do that, and versus mode, you can't even set it to, you can only set it to CPU, 1P versus CPU and 1P versus 2P. But I would never subject another person to this, because this game is actual dog water. This game feels awful to play. You can't even, and I've only unlocked 2. I thought I unlocked 3. Yeah, I unlocked 3. 1 guy down here that I'll never use. I want to use Aegis. I want to see if it plays any different from Strike, because all of these strikes play the same, except one has a really broken circle button. Aegis Gundam, I don't even know how it plays, but compared to how I was doing in the story mode. It wasn't doing well. I only unlocked one stage. All the other stages are completely locked. I was gonna do this whole thing about how I love fighting games and I want to see how this game goes, but no, this is just like whack-ass custom robo. Literally like brain-damaged Naruto Clash of Ninja. Somebody in the comments I remember said that it was bad. Somebody did say that it was really janky and really bad. But it's like this game, I didn't even know this game had quarter circles because I just felt like they didn't work half the time. I don't even know how they're doing that. This is just what I've gone through after playing this game for like an hour. Wow, this game, so far this game is not good. This game is not good. This game is opposite of good. This game is terrible. Future Kinzie, tell me what you come up with, because right now past Kinzie is livid. Okay, past Kinzie, I did my research. With the help of a cute bitch known as Unknown Drive, I was able to see just what was eluding me this whole time. I was sent a combo exhibition, and are you fucking kidding me? Every single combo in this video, for the suits I have unlocked for the godforsaken mission mode, requires a level of patience I don't even put into my nappy ass hair. This shit requires pin tip precise management of your thrusters, knowing the interactions of your physical attacks, and having a tight ass grip on the controls in general. Yeah, I'm sure that's possible with no damn training mode, and I have no idea if this is true or not, but earlier I was talking about not unlocking practice mode, but according to a guide I read, there isn't one even listed in the amount of modes there are. So even if I did dedicate the lifespan of my joints trying to do these combos, I'd have to do it in a versus mode, and that's just flat out stupid. With that, I can see why this game got low scores. It makes a worse first impression than that weird kid in class you just gave the N-word pass to, and let's be real, it was probably you. 2 modes, 4 characters, which is really just 1 character, and a mission mode that falls flat on its face with shit dialogue and way unbalanced fights. Nah, burn it. Normally, this is where I would end the video like this, but no, that's not nearly enough for me. You see that 3 right there? That means that this is the 3rd time that they did something like this, and it fumbled the bag here. All my Coomers out there know that the 3rd shot is never the farthest, but god damn it, this shot didn't even make it out of the fucking testes. So with that being said, let me go back and see what I slept on with the 2nd game, and we'll figure out just how hard they deviated from being basically functional human beings.
I couldn't take it, couldn't stand another minute.
Battle Assault 2 is a banger. In every sense of the word, it just gets it right off the bat. Every character is different, and there is more of them to begin with. Yes, the amount of modes is basically the same, but with more options to try from the get-go, the natural progression of that is to just try it all, and I definitely found my favorites. The art style will age much more gracefully than its sequel, and it even controls better to boot. So if you're ever stuck between playing Battle Assault 2 and getting your penis stuck in a windshield, hopefully you'll make the right decision. Now, I know it's kind of common for fighting games to not have much to say about them, especially older ones, but just know that I tried to dig deeper with this one. But my general rule of thumb is that if it walks like ass, talks like ass, and controls like ass, then I'm probably not gonna keep indulging in my degradation kink for too long. I have a hard time calling anything straight up bad, at least in a serious sense. I feel like redeeming qualities count for a lot, especially with how different people are from each other. But when it comes to games like this, the only thing I can say while staying consistent is that if you like Seed enough to go through an active wood chipper for it, then still don't play this. The fuck? The frighteningly shit first impression this game makes is laughable. Only giving you 4 characters, which is really just 1 character with different astral signs, no training mode to even get to learn the ins and outs of actually deeper mechanics at your own pace, and the useless tacked-on mechanics that never became more effective than the 4-hit wonder. Also, I know what programming does. It actually upgrades your mobile suit in different ways, close range attacks being more effective or your long range attacks being more effective. None of that shit matters. Ugh. Scheisse. But even then, I won't call the game bad, but avoid it if you can, and honestly, you probably already were. This video bangs. I love it, and I'm sure you will too. I did a rap at the end too. I went off on this video. I covered RENGOU vs ZAFT a little bit too, which I liked actually, and overall, I'm happy with my opinion on both those games to this day. Hi everyone, this is So here's the reason why this video is so important, so listen up please. Oh, come on, I said please. If you look hard enough in online forums and stuff, this game is almost universally hated. It just seems like no one likes it. It's not even in so bad it's good territory, people just don't fucking like it. It got straight 3s from professional critics, and looking deeper will show even lower numbers. There are fans of this game, but they can't even say it's good without a bunch of qualifiers. Now trust me, I understand of course, because I am High Guardian Spice's biggest fan, but me and CROSSFIRE have history. After Dynasty Warriors Gundam 2 and 3, I wanted a genuine Gundam experience. Yeah, they had Gundam in the title, but they didn't have the grit. Little did I know that the grit was only achievable through shit graphics and shit controls. That is the last thing I remember before refunding my $3. I went right back to my mech anime adventures and left the 1-year war behind for 7 years more. Till today. This is CROSSFIRE. So, as is standard for the KinzieK channel, this jump took a while. Why? Because capturing older consoles gameplay is a bitch! My initial plan was to buy a physical copy of CROSSFIRE and record it for the most accurate experience possible. But lo and behold, ye which doth not possess the component cables shall not prosper. So I had to order them. Then, when I got around to testing them, my second monitor was not compatible with component. So I had to uncover my TV I haven't used since like my 3rd year of college, take out my laptop with a battery that dies in the same amount of time it takes to lose lane to Silas. Fuck, I hate Silas. And after that, yes! Oh, it's working. Oh, I can finally capture PS3. Yes. Oh my god. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, god damn it. Not to mention that the performance of this game is so fucked on original hardware that I had to make a choice. Do I give the game the ultimate charitability by emulating it on the equivalent of Fugaku, or do I struggle with the OG copy and keep it accurate?
Target destruction confirmed. 2 targets remaining.
I don't like your plan. It sucks.
Yeah, I'll take a legal gray area over an actual gray area. We're hopping on Vulcan, bitch. Yeah, the emulation isn't perfect, but it performs much better, and if you're a fan of this game, trust me, you want it this way. Starting the game up... Remember installing games for faster load times? Pepperidge Farm remembers. You already know what it is. And our esteemed pilot's name is gonna be Kinky, because look at him! So the way this game goes is that you are a pilot participating in the 1-year war as a sergeant. You enlist different pilots that come in as PSCs, which means that they took a staff officer course in staff college. Yeah. These were college students. You also purchase suits for everyone to use and customize and update them in ways like increasing their shooting damage, giving them different weapons, or increasing their defensive capabilities, and the system works pretty well. The shitty part of this though is that every change you make requires a day or so to complete. The whole game actually runs on a day-to-day system, where every day you progress has the chance to give you new things to buy or new missions to complete. This wouldn't be so dumb if they didn't require you to manually pass days by yourself one by one. The easiest fix for this would be to automatically use up the required amount of days for whatever you're waiting on. Obviously, they didn't think so, but thank God for me, I guess. The way the upgrades themselves work is also kind of weird. You can queue up multiple upgrades to complete, but you cannot queue up multiple upgrades on the same suit at once. Now, honestly, I understand this because if you just blew through days, then missions would come and go if you skip too many of them. So I'll just judge it as is. Deeply flawed and ungodly tedious, but admittedly necessarily so. Enough of this dry-ass pomp and unfortunate circumstance though. How's the gameplay? Well, let's jump in our Zaku 2 and let's see what PTSD triggers this 1-year war will give us. Alright, now, time to make some enemies. Let's go! A huge complaint this game has received in its heyday is that it is incredibly clunky, which blows my fucking mind because no other Gundam game has ever been clunky before or after this. Okay, I'm fucking around, but I get it. It controls like a tank, but a tank that is high off of pixie dust. It's not terrible to get used to though, and honestly, it doesn't feel much different from the games I've played for the channel thus far. Back in my days of having no friends and no bitches, CROSSFIRE was the only game of its type that I've played. But now I've played all these damn games to varying degrees of enjoyment. Some I've enjoyed less than this. It's kind of fun, okay? I think it's not terrible right now. Could it be better? Absolutely. But damn, right now, this shit kinda bleen. The first mission has you killing a few gems, and this shit is fucking hilarious. You can live the ZEONIC dream of bullying gems, and God, I love it. Okay? Yeah, the first mission slapped. Would miss my jump attack any day of the week.
Enemy forces destroyed. Cease intercept. The defense operation was a success.
Could that be any more awkward? Hold on, let me see if I can do that. Hello, this is KinzieK, capital K. This is another video related to Mobile Suit Gundam. I am really glad that you are now watching this YouTube video about Mobile Suit Gundam. This is now going to be a transition into the next scene. Second mission. This one was where my experience took a turn for the fuck is this? Yeah, at this point, I was like, so my strongest suit is in the shop right now. I guess I'll take the Zaku 1 for a spin.
What are you doing?
Okay, like, yeah, but no. Here's where I learned that this game is about playing the long game and never using the Zaku 1 ever again. They give you easier missions to do that pay out enough money to do upgrades and buy new college students and suits, but if you don't pay attention to the missions you're skipping, you can be in a position where your pilot feels like shit and your suit is fucked, so you may have to fall back to another suit you haven't upgraded yet. Yes, that happened to me, and that shit kills morale worse than any death on the battlefield would. Now, if I wanted to look at the greener grass, then I would say that if you really want to experience the 1 Year War and all of its tedium and just experience it in its most accurate format, then this is kind of the way to go. And this also leaks into the game's aesthetic, for better or worse. The game is drab and looks lifeless, just like it probably would in real life. Too bad this is a video game, and saying that would just mean that the game looks bad, and it really does. On emulator, it looks passable, but on original hardware, it just looks dreadful. I can't give that a pass either, since the grand majority of people will not be emulating this on powerful hardware. And that's sad, because this game can achieve a look that can be described as average sometimes. But honestly, there were Gundam games on the PS2 that looked much better than this, even the shitty ones. So let's conclude at, wow, this game looks good, but like in a bad way. Aside from all of that though, while the game is low-key fun, something was really nagging at me as the days kept rolling in game. Damn, this shit get boring after a while. For a long stretch, it's just mission, repair, upgrade, repeat. The only thing that changes is the mission variety, and it goes from killing shit to protecting shit while killing shit or just doing jack shit. And it stays like this until they introduce gun tanks, and fuck gun tanks! Yeah, I hate the gun tanks in this game because they are the one enemy that had me questioning constantly if I was underleveled. Them and the snipers. Snipers, if they hit you square in the chest a few times, will end your entire mission if you're not careful. Or even if you are careful, they'll hit you with the power of where the fuck did that come from. And yeah, all the fun I was having was tanked immediately by these two enemies. The clunky ass controls that were funny at first turned into ulcerative colitis. Yes, the PS2 games were heavy feeling, but this game makes Federation vs. ZEON feel like Nier Automata. And as far as I'm concerned, while I don't feel like this game is as bad as it's getting called online, it's still comparable to getting a paper cut on your tank. I spent time upgrading the shit out of every suit I had, going through day after day after day, incrementally upgrading the fuck out of my suits until I just couldn't be damned anymore, and it still didn't work against the almighty gun bitches. So that was CROSSFIRE, and for a game that I had coming since childhood, I guess I did truly commit die. If you don't get it, watch my Battle Operation 2 video. I'll link it for you, okay, cutie? But oh no, we're not done quite yet. I'm coming back to this later, but for now, we have one last stop before we close this chapter for good. Oh yes, babes, we're looking at RENGOU vs ZAFT, because apparently y'all think I'm a Japanese scholar or some shit. Oh, God, okay, shit, that's Kira. Yeah, I don't want to do that, whatever that was. Oh yeah, I actually got in a match, okay. Alright, good. I can actually read the numbers. Yeah, whatever you said. It is difficult. Oh yeah, fly. Yeah. You can't handle my avian abilities, bitch. Oh, well. I lost. That was fun. Alright, back to the video. So, being on the PSP, this game goes the mobile game route and offers a mission-based structure similar to CROSSFIRE, except it's more like a fast-paced arcade game and less like eating a microwaved Lunchables pizza. I went ZAFT because that was the only thing I could read, and I named myself Mommy Ran. Our mission is as follows. Moving on. So the graphics and gameplay are right on par with Gundam vs Zeta Gundam, like pretty much identical. And even the intro for the game shows this off. The animation for the suits are really well done, and they all play different enough from each other that none of the missions I played felt samey or boring. Being on the PSP while looking just as presentable as bona fide console games was really impressive. Yeah, the environments weren't as flashy, but hey, this game is a little old, I can cut it some slack. It plays well and left a much better taste in my mouth than CROSSFIRE. At least I can run this game without it looking like Limbo and shit. Game's fun, full stop. It's 100% worth fumbling through menus because let's be real, you dropped out of Japanese 1020 because it didn't come with subtitles, shut up. So, is that it? Well, yeah, I guess so. Now, to properly send these games off, let me show y'all motherfuckers how a new type get down, bitch.
Okay, cute bitches, stand up! We about to go to space with this motherfucking heat, bitch. Shout out to Clive, let's go! Yeah, Crossfire, bitch, I am so tired. Fucking around with federations and all them bitches liars. You drop me in the ruins and all these buildings fucking stank. Gun tanks shooting at me so fast I can't even fucking think. Upgrades take up a day and these missions don't barely pay. And I'm a rich bitch, make sure you heard what I say. And the amount of shits I give her on a limited time offer. Had your bitch with me in the forest and I swear to God I lost her. If you shoot me in the back, then bitch you better fucking kill me. Snipers do a lot of damage, should've leveled up ADP. You know what? At first I thought this game was actually gonna be heat, but then the joke was on me. The friends in this game are kinda weak. I can only die so much until I break my fucking back. The 1 year war was a long time, but damn, not this fucking whack. But you bitches never die though. In the comments let them know. Yay, new KinzieK vid, and I hope you enjoyed the show.
Is it still funny to call it that? It makes me laugh. Gundam Overwatch, I feel nothing for. I agree with my previous opinions simply because I haven't thought any harder about it since putting the video out. My excitement just kinda faded. And I hear nothing about it nowadays, so I can only assume that my world is unaffected by this. But hey, the video is pretty funny, and I like it a lot, and I'm sure you will too. The game's intro is long as hell. It's not a problem, it's just the first thing I caught wind of because they do that thing that League of Legends does, where they showcase the abilities of the different characters and all the situations are completely unrealistic. Like when they show off Zaku 2, Barbatos allows him to live longer than 2 seconds, and when they show off Barbatos, he slaughters an entire team by himself. But to be fair, that'll actually happen. Mostly every gameplay example is them hopping in the middle of shootouts and straight crushing everyone's holes. It makes it look really good though, and honestly the game heavily benefits from this showcase. Right after that, it brought me straight into a tutorial exactly like Overwatch does. I won't try to compare them too much even though they are born of the same freak seed, but these are two totally different games at the end of the day and we shouldn't forget that.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. They're the same picture.
How does it feel though? Honestly, fucking extraordinary. Seriously, the movement is great, and this was scaring me because I genuinely thought it would feel like donkey piss, but like, it doesn't. Gundam Battle Operation 2 is a big reason why I was apprehensive about this game's movement, because I typically don't care for heavy Gundam games. If you're new here and itching to tell me that I'm wrong, please go to the video I made about Battle Operation 2 and bitch about it there. I haven't thought about that game since I pressed upload. This game though, I like it so far. I had 2 gripes with the game though, and spoiler alert, I never got used to them. R1 and L1. L1 would be sprint in other games, but in this game it's thrusters because of course it is. The thrusters are a movement that gets faster over time of using it, so it's more efficient to use your burst movement in the middle of fights, which does feel better a lot of the time, and using your extended running to get to the fight. What I couldn't get used to was its button placement, because I genuinely can't fathom my run being on L1 instead of the left stick. And I'm sure there are others that can't get it either. It just don't feel right. R1 being jump is weird as hell too. Obviously there are people that got used to this no problem, they kicked my ass, but even after I remapped it to a more conventional control scheme, putting jump on X and sprint on L3, this shit just wasn't clicking, so I just went back to normal. Nitpicking aside, actual movement feels good no matter what the buttons are, and the mobility you have across the board on any unit is awesome to have in a historically snail-paced series. Combat is also pretty damn good. Me personally, I like a lower TTK. That means time to kill for those that don't know. If you ever played One in the Chamber from Call of Duty Black Ops, then yes, I like it that short, like premature ejaculation short. But it is a team-based shooter, and it's also Overwatch, so I get why it's higher than usual. Overall, tutorial was great, and it helped me get into the controls. Now to look at the units, since this is the part I was really worried about. Now, I'm not the hugest Gundam fan out there, but the roster to me was kinda weird. You can play a Gem and a gun tank alongside Barbatos and Turn A. If you've been watching me for a hot minute, you know that I ain't touching these basic bitches with a 10-inch penis. We're rocking with Turn A for the first match because fucking duh. And trust me, Turn A just being here in general was enough for me to one-trick them, but like my mother probably said during childbirth, I don't think this is what I wanted. So Turn A has a low fire rate weapon that can be charged when aiming down the sights. This made me think that they were meant to be played as some kind of mid-range to long-range poker, but then I read the abilities and I'm like, oh, so this is a close-range skirmisher with a long-range weapon? Can't say I vibe with that nonsense, honey. I genuinely have no idea what to think of Turn A's playstyle, and my weakness in life is being confronted with things that I don't understand, so I'll chalk this one up to not for me, babe. Sucks too, because I was fully prepared to become a Turn A Gundam Evo one-trick channel, but I guess I'll have to stick to my other hyperfixations, like the 3 videos I was working on before I landed on this. The next unit that I tried was Gem Sniper 2. You can't hear this, but I was screaming at the top of my lungs during character select about how I wanted him to have abilities that I couldn't use at long range like Turn A. Unfortunately, GM Sniper made a little too much sense. He throws down a pad that allows him to jump on it for extra height, which is awesome because Widowmaker also has ways to get to high ground, and anything that reminds me of Widowmaker is nothing short of a masterpiece. Overall, he aight, but in general, if I'm playing a sniper, it ain't gonna be on a controller. My thumbs are only opposable because they oppose me. Not for me, babe. Skip it up and that up. Next unit was Granddaddy, and he is the mobile suit of all time. He shields, he shoots, and he exists. Can't take that away from Amuro, he's been through enough. But when it comes to playing him in this game, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's gonna be a hard-earned not for me, babe. Eventually, after I queued for another match due to sunk cost fallacy, I went Mobile 76 because this was the closest I was gonna get to being able to contribute to the team, as if I cared in the first place. Long story short, Pale Rider is fun enough since he plays like the all-rounder that everyone can pick up and play, but as was written in the sacred text by our Lord above, Barbatos goes swingy swing to my cranium. Not Pale Rider's fault, but not for me, babe. With a little asterisk that says if there's actual humans on the enemy team. Zaku 2 next, because God forbid I don't LARP as the superior faction, and also not disappoint you further. ZEON did nothing wrong except allow me to control its suit in this damn game. He can go invisible, which is kind of interesting, but honestly, if I wanted to truly feel invisible, I would just get back on Tinder. Plus, Rocket Launcher Boy was right there, so not for me. Holy shit, there's a lot of those. Dom Trooper, ooh, step on me, daddy. The unit I wanted to play like Soldier from TF2, except he's a support class, I guess. He can heal and provide fire from long distances. Yay, do I have to give a shit about my team again? I'm sure as this game ages, it will be people screaming, need healing, whenever somebody locks Dom, but right now it seems like there's no real need for a healer if you have Barbatos that's even remotely competent. Trust me, I ain't shit in this game and never will be, but even I can see how this game is the Wild West right now. So Dom Trooper isn't bad, but until people demand support classes and tell me that I should have been Dom, bitch, not for me, babe. I went ass him R, and God, I could care less. Also, why does it feel like Barbatos can just cleave through my entire Wi-Fi sig? You know what? If you can't beat him upside the head. Once I saw these Doomfist ass icons, I realized exactly why Barbie could fuck me like a Malibu Ken doll. This thing is fucking insane to fight against and even more powerful in the right hands. Too bad I only have left ones, but you get what I'm saying. He can high jump and then come down like a fucking dragoon. And since the mobility in this game is really damn good across the board, it doesn't take long to run the fuck away from a fight that you started and came back to finish the job since your cooldowns are so low. I understand that he's melee, and balancing a melee character in a game full of guns is necessary for health of the character, but come on, if I was getting kills, like multiples of them, then there's a problem. Barbatos is really good and easy to to just throw your hitboxes around with. Needless to say, I had fun with him and you will too, but since he is melee, you might want to bump that sensitivity up because playing him is kind of unrefined, at least on controller, but that's how it is anyway. Barbatos got a dub for me. I like him. He's for me. Those were all of the units I played, and overall the game is fine. It is just a big heaping pile of not for me babe, and that's not the game's fault, but I'm just jaded and can't enjoy anything if Dokkaebi isn't in it. I'm sorry. I had fun though, and you will too when the game comes out. It doesn't even play bad on console either. My connection was fine, and that's all you can hope for in a network test. Hopefully they add more units to play with like CROSSRAYS, and that's how I feel about Gundam Watch. As this video is more recent, I have no real changes to my mindset surrounding it, but I do think I could have made it longer, but I don't think it could really be any shorter either. I said what I needed to say, never mind. So here's the fucking game plan. You listening? Good, cause you need to listen close. These are the games that introduced me to Gundam as a concept, more specifically, Dynasty Warriors Gundam 2 and 3, or as I will now call them, the Nasty Gundam. So there is heavy bias and also a lot of retrospect. There is no, and I mean no, objective truths you will get from this video. These opinions are all mine and they will stay mine until the end credit rolls. If you're looking for a super duper pooper scooper analysis of these games, then take your ass to Chris Gildart. I don't know who this is, and I ain't watched these hoes, but from the length alone, individually, he'll probably get you right. Alright, let's talk about this goofy-eye game. The Nasty Gundam,
first time.
Literally the nastiest one. But it's not like you can tell from the intro. It's actually interesting too, because on my Gundam Battle Operation 2 video, which I regret making every single day, someone in the comments took what I said about that game feeling like shit to control and asked what I was expecting from gargantuan-ass robotic suits. And my response was basically, literally everything in this intro. If you're like me starting with the spin-off series, then I don't blame you for a second for thinking Gundam is always like this, because in this particular series of games, it's always portrayed this way. Getting into the game, though, is a little bit plain. You got space, planets, and when you highlight them, they go through heat death. Let's go to official mode and see how they attempt to represent this bombshell of an anime. Okay, so they got me. Can't have a Gundam game without me. Pretty much perfect if I do say so myself, it's what I deserve. And the stats perfectly match my fragility when close to someone. First stop is Odessa. No, not the electronic duo, but the city in Tejas or whatever. The story in this video doesn't matter because bitch, you've seen it. Fed's good, Zeon bad. I say Zeon did nothing wrong. You say seek Zeon in the comments. You already know what it is. It's your boy. Repeating jokes. Ooh, that's a good one. Not really, whatever. Okay, first problem. This game has automatically inverted controls just like Gundam Seed Never Ending Tomorrow. When I move my stick left, I don't want my perspective to turn right. Second problem, this game is a bit janky, a little bit clunky, and a bit ugly. It's the first game and the one I didn't grow up with, so I'll cut it some slack since they did fix it in the other games, but right now, on my Nana's Operation Odessa, it's annoying. It's like the game can't really keep up with the moves you want to make. Play it as judo, same damn thing. It just feels slightly like the gentle caress of a trash compactor. Poo Poo is in this game, and that's always good. She's in all the ones I like. Fra Bo is here, and she got... Overall, it is a game that functions. I don't plan on saying much about this one anyway, but if I had to give it a number, I'd give it a solid C. The Nasty Gundam 2.
Prepare for trouble.
Make it double.
This intro is way better than the first one. I'm so glad that shit is over. Right away, they realized that this kind of Gundam is superior to that slow shit, cause man, they went above and beyond on this one. The production quality is sky high, and I remember the first time watching this as a kid, I thought I was watching Jesus come back, but unfortunately, he was just a permanent pen pal from Uruguay. This game is much prettier to look at too, sporting a new thing in the background, more classy text, and Neptune or whatever. In official mode, you have the same selection of characters, but with the added touch of perfection of being able to play as this masked loser named Char Aznavour. Remember him? He gave me that double-decker dome before the 1 year war, and yes, that's canon. In my head, but does it matter anywhere else? Before I forget, inverted camera is the devil. No one yet has defended this on my internet that I've seen, but just in case you think that is a false statement, then let me be the first to revoke you of your cutie rights. Let's see how this game looks. It looks Okay, not as good as I remember it looking, which basically means I thought I was actually Amuro. I am his cousin after all. But it looks better than the first one by a country mile. And a country mile is pretty damn long, ain't it? Although I swear it looked more detailed than this, I can let it slide. Because where the fuck did all these balls come from? Rubbing all up on me and shit. Yeah, there is way more enemies on screen than the first one. And it's way more satisfying to kill shit since there's always fodder shoulder width apart from you. It's a hoot and maybe even a holler. The moveset on Zaku 2 isn't amazing, but it's better than unseasoned McSaltine over there. Overall, good intro to the game. Let's see the next level. Oh, okay, now I remember. It was Gelgoog all double cheeked up on a fucking Thursday. Depending on the lighting and other shit like that, your suits can look really good, and Gelgoog is no exception here. He's shiny, detailed, and the moveset is really cute, letting you pick up these irrelevant fucks and throw them into more irrelevant fucks. Lala is here. Couldn't begin to tell you why. I was too busy tabbing out and buying a figure of her. As is probably obvious at this point, my inner child was wetting the bed again. This environment is so beautiful, and the fog is ever so delicately placed on the scene to truly make this a believable scenario. From my memory, the other areas are also like this, having lovingly crafted areas that really show the scale of the mobile suits, but also not making the suits feel big and clunky. Even the older suits like Gelgoog. So yes, I'll give this one my patent-pending perfect rating with no drawbacks. Hopefully the third game is just as nostalgic, cause if it is, then baby, I got some bias for you. The Nasty Gundam.
3 big balls. Look like we playing tennis. He got a big dick. I think it's named Dennis.
Now, from what I remember, this game made a lot of changes. I was actually waiting for this one to come out, and I watched a couple of reviews about it from 2 people. The Scullo guy, which seems like a dead channel now, I hope he's doing well, and Zeitgeist Reviews. And he played a big part in my decision to get this game back then. Of course, this game was full price back then compared to the second game, which I got in a 20 or less bin. Was it worth it though? Bitch, I thought so. But I mean like today. Yes bitch, I think so. First things first, and this is all for me and me alone, and if you guys agree, but Into the World is worth the price tag alone. The vibes are just concrete. I remembered this song and all of its versions being super nostalgic, and hearing them again in game after so long, it was really great, okay? My inner child is thriving, bitch. The game also looks much cooler now. They went for semi-cell shading, semi-realistic graphics this time around instead of closer to realistic textures, and it really brings out the anime in this anime game. Every suit looks cute. It gets my cute bitch stamp of approval, and that's really hard to give out, trust me. Best girl in this game out of the characters I have unlocked to see is Tifa, pre-7th Heaven, looking a little different and having an extra F in her name, which makes her name stand for "This is Final Fantasy, actually." And that's true, cause Koichi told me, you can ask him. He also told me that her last name was Pickle. I don't make the rules, I just follow them. On to the gameplay. For my 700th first time playing this game, I went with Banazher Lynx. Fun fact, I used to call him Bang Her Lynx. I was a kid and you still are one, don't judge me. In game, this game looks genuinely fantastic. It's stylized and in some cases jaw-dropping. This game can handle a stupid amount of stuff happening on screen. The action is much more fast-paced, even with the suits that have less than stellar movesets. Alongside all of that, the game does not disappoint with the amount of enemies on screen either. While there isn't a whole lot like in the second game, since the action is faster, it doesn't feel like much of a loss in that area. Overall, I really like it, and seeing the evolution of the gameplay one after another really puts into perspective how these games were made, which leads right into, let's look at these dumbass games again so I can extend the video and talk about other shit. Nasty Gundam 1 wasn't great, but it damn sure wasn't good either. Bitch was a fast clunker, like how do you even do that? I'm glad I didn't grow up with it, cause then nostalgia would have fooled me into thinking it was underrated when it was really just under. Sorry if you do like this game, I truly am, but that's just how I feel. And it's actually great that y'all liked it, cause y'all enabled the creation of 2 much better than it games that I got to play instead. And for that, I thank you for hyping mid. Nasty Gundam 2 makes me squeal. I love it. I think it's genuinely so good for a sequel. It kept the scale of the first and made it good. It's damn near a remake tier creation. The controls are more solid, there's more options for combat, and it looks like the number 69. At my funeral, if they don't play the Pilot Select theme, then I'll come back to life and politely tell them to get their shit together and swiftly die again, because ew, who lives anymore? Nasty Gundam 3 was a perfect way to shake it up Chicago. And speaking of Chicago, this game flicks my bean. It's incredibly fast paced. They shook up the foundation of the second game and made it a more linear experience, and the more drab areas of the first and second game are basically covered in glitter and Astroglide. And what about Nasty Gundam Reborn? Simple really. I don't own it anymore because it's not physical and it's not downloaded anymore. Plus, this was a video about the games I grew up with. Reborn was not one of them. I barely played it, and honestly, while I do see that everyone loves it and wants it to return to modern day consoles, all I can say is, me too, so I can make more content. Just emulate it. Sorry, I only tend to emulate games I own physically or digitally. Don't worry, if it's meant to be, I'll Edo Tensei this series on my channel, but for now, the big three needs rankings. Gundam 2 is only slightly better than the third game. The first game is, and that was the best Gundam trilogy of all time, somewhat. So the observant listener has probably picked up on the occasional shots I took at not only GBO2, but also the video I made about it way back when. I know I didn't include the actual video, but that's only because I touch on it in this video coming up. I played really nice with GBO2 because I knew people liked it, but I also displayed my dislikes in a nuanced opinion piece. Turns out that I was innocent back then, because the internet is where nuance goes to rot. So I took the mask off and responded to the small amount of recent comments I got about that 2 to 3 year old video. Needless to say, yes, I changed my view on covering GBO2 from then, but not really the game itself. I've said plenty of times that not only did I think that the game was good in its own right, just not for me, but I still take shots because I'm petty, and I can comfortably say that this video is the last time. Pinky promise. This video is me waving my white flag in the air. I submit, and I am also to be bred. There has been a 2-year-long pandemic on my channel, and I have been feeling its effects daily since February 28th, 2020, the day I uploaded my first impressions on Gundam Battle Operation 2. Since then, I have been taking shots left and right at that video and the people under it, and now it's time to deliver the killing blow. Fuck GBO2. With peace and love, of course. And if you thought anything other than damn, this coon's spittin', I wonder what message he's trying to convey after I said that, then this is the time to listen to me. You have all left your comments and now it's my time to respond. Aside from calling me a coon, I can forgive that, but not watching my videos to completion, now that's a hate crime.
It's my stress, that's for sure.
Let me start off this entire thing by saying I like the game. I do. I think it's good. It's not for me, but I think it's good. Slow as hell and clunky, but good if you like that. The GBO2 video spawned a lot of praise and I appreciate it immensely. And my reward is to make fun of people who likely didn't watch the full thing. More specifically, got to 2 minutes and 55 seconds and blew their collective premature loads and went to my comment section to germinate. This is what I said about GBO2 and how it plays. And 2 years later, I still agree.
Movement was very slow and didn't feel good at all. It took so much effort to actually initiate a one-on-one fight, and even more to complete the fight. Turning around felt like my thumbstick was broken, and there weren't any sensitivity settings that I could find. The attacking was a monumental chore.
Right after I displayed my personal gripes with my first match literally ever, I went to the tutorial and improved. The title and thumbnail were a very intentional clickbait to portray how ridiculous the notion of this being the Dark Souls of Gundam and impossible was. The game is not impossible, and the Dark Souls of Gundam would at least have to be fun. For me. I thought the narrative was pretty easy to follow, and I assumed that people who have played the game way longer than me would have been able to get behind someone being fresh and new. And a lot of people were, but a few comments were a bit less accepting. Let's read them. Can't wait. Next time, do the tutorial first. It's kind of unique gameplay. The cluckiness is part of it. Cluckiness? What the fuck is this, a chicken, bitch? Holy shit, I agree. I should have played the tutorial. Roll the clip.
So similar to Versus, I went into the training mode.
Looks like someone didn't watch the video, huh? Why are you comparing Gundam Versus with this game? Are you crazy? You don't even know what you're talking about. Okay, here's some context because I feel like this point can be further elaborated on and even start some discussion. Naturally, this lovely cutie had a problem choking on their own spit while trying to type this one, so I won't blame them for it, but my usage of Gundam Versus was not to compare the two games as separate games, but to compare how they both represent a different priority for suits that they include. I used the regular degular RX-78-2 as an example of this. In a game like GBO 2, where mass-produced suits could be considered rare, in Gundam vs. or Dynasty Warriors Gundam or any other game that is more super robot focused, those suits fucking suck, and you would never think of playing them, especially in my situation. I would never think about playing the Gundam in them when Turn A and Tall Geese are right there. But in GBO 2, if I had to choose between the Gundam and the ZZ Top 4790210, then bitch, you get it, you're smart.
Some major whining from a super robot fan, it sounds like to me.
True! I liked this one because they just like me for real.
The game is trash. You know it, and I know it, unborn children know it. I will actively avoid anything Bandai has put their name on from now on.
I disagree. Weirdly confrontational, and I'm surprised this didn't start a fight. But no, everyone disliked that. POV, you don't shower. Ooh. POV, you don't upload no content, don't stream or upload any videos, don't curate any playlists, cause what the fuck would go in them? Don't have any community to call your own, that's why you posted your fraudulent comments surrounded by comments you'll never see. Don't feature any other channels, cause who even are you? And you don't have a lot to say about yourself. L+ ratio, and against all odds, you came to my 2-year-old video, going on 3, about a game I haven't played in that same amount of time to let me know you were affected by it in some way. Sad. Also, don't go after this person or harass or whatever, because they're going through enough, honestly. GG, go next, stupid bitch.
It feels like shit to play. Everything is so slow. I mean, you're in a 300-ton, 80-foot tall walking tank. What did you expect? The turn speed of a Ferrari?
Yes. Everything that I've played before GBO 2 at that time was faster than a Ferrari. Have you gotten any better yet? No. It's more like Gundam's answer to Overwatch. I hope you love Gundam Evo then, cause baby. Well, I'm kinda late to the party on this video, but I still wanna say something. This video is accurate to a certain point. What some people don't realize is the graphics for this game are the way they are for the right reasons. This game was developed for optimal performance since the first game had massive performance issues, but I blame that on the PS3 hardware. I'd rather a game run great instead of looking good but running like ass. For what they are, the graphics aren't bad since this game is free. I partly disagree. This video is accurate 100% because they are all my fifis, and I presented nothing factual that could be tested for accuracy. It's either you disagree with me or not, and based on what I said, we do agree on this game's graphics. You explain that the game looks this way for many different reasons, but at the end of the day, if I think it looks ugly, then that's sad, I guess. All in all, not a bad video, but I feel more like it's from a new player's perspective instead of someone who has played it for years, which can be a good and a bad thing. You feel like it's a new player's perspective? Why do you have to feel that way? It just is. True, opinions on long-lasting pieces of media tend to have more weight the more experience you have, but considering that this video was built from the ground up to be my first impressions on the game and nothing past that, all I can say is thank you for watching it enough to have your own opinions and starting a real discussion about something related to the way the video is made. Those are my favorite type of comments, and you nailed it here. You probably haven't even thought about my channel since that day, but you did the right thing, babe.
The reason why it's like that is it's trying to simulate how it would feel to pilot a real mobile shoot.
Another one of these. All I'll say is that just because it is supposed to be this way doesn't make it automatically my taste. I don't hate it, but I like to move fast. I don't know. Y'all can have all of that. I want something else. Simple.
I'm sure your ears are ringing with Code Fairy review requests, but honestly, as a daily player for almost a year straight of GBO 2, I felt like Code Fairy helped me build my skills further. And I love the writing and animation and all the cool new suits, and I think you might too.
Honestly, I believe you, but as Frieza said in Dragon Ball Z Abridged,
I have people to do that for me.
Discord? My takes on GBO Code Fairy. I'm really loving the story-driven narrative. The movement is, well, GBO 2 movement, but smoother.
My honest opinion on Code Fairy is that it had a lot of potential, but it's dragged down by being attached to GBO 2, and the cutesy Sakura Wars feeling cutscenes really clash with the more realistic style gameplay. The story and characters were good though.
Code Fairy lit, but it's not everyone's tea, even though it's vastly dependent on whether or not you like the gameplay of GBO 2. I didn't.
GBO 2? How about you GB go outside to get some bitches instead? You bitch!
So yeah, I'll probably never play Code Fairy for the channel, but at least I know it's good to someone. But as far as I know, as long as the game feels the same it did 2 years ago, then they could release GBO Sex Simulator and I'll still wonder if it controls like McDonald's Burgers Digest. Also, join the Discord, cause if you're lucky, you'll get to have your comments in the video too. This comment from somebody in the Discord actually actually sparked my interest in actually making this video quicker than I would have normally. So thank you, buddy. GBO2 will probably never show up on the channel again unless I get strung up by my balls and tased with a bug zapper. But at that point, you might as well demand I play Crossfire again. At least I'd know that you meant business, you weak bitch. But that's about it for this unhinged disaster piece. I had no idea where this video would go, but I was genuinely surprised to see how much love that video actually got. And it made this video harder, but it was also heartwarming. Cute bitches never die. Hey, we made it to the last Gundam video. I have nothing to say really. I just made it, and I love it to death. I just think it's really good. Hi everyone, this is KinzieK.
The new uber crappy series that was shown on CN a while ago. Total disgrace to the Gundam series. It's unfunny, the action is slow, and the Gundams look so stupid.
The two games that we're looking at today are both tailored toward SD Gundam specifically, and I was ecstatic because one of them is a shining example of what I think Gundam games should be, and the other is slicing your carotid artery.
Steaming pile of mini Gundam turd. Seriously, not related to the Gundam series at all. At all.
The last SD Gundam games that I looked at were MS SAGA A New Dawn and G Generation CrossRays, and both were a nice breath of fresh air, but also weren't the most amazing games to me, so more like a breath of fresh air in the oblongs, or like Cleveland or something. But either way, I appreciated the change of pace, and I wanted more like it ever since those two. Now, I feel that if I want to play the newest SD Gundam game that literally no one talks about, I wanted to juxtapose that, I guess that's the word, with a game that came from 3 yester generations ago that is within the same series, fits within the same genre of gameplay, kinda, I guess, whatever, and people also don't talk about. SD Gundam runs circles around totally Actually, hold the fucking phone. You're lying. You are literally
What a fucking Weasley little liar, dude.
So yeah, SD Gundam Force Showdown and SD Gundam Battle Alliance. We gotta walk before we can run. So let's walk through some glass together and experience SD Gundam Force Showdown, starring Yuri Lowenthal. Again, I can never escape him.
It's my stress, that's for sure.
Now, ignoring the fact that this game looks like something that would come on Jetix, and yes, I know it actually came on Toonami, leave me alone, I just wanted to make a cute reference. SD Gundam Force Showdown is just one of the most wool over my eyes ass games I've ever played in this series. Games with amazing presentation that end up being equivalent to a sinus infection are some of the worst experiences, period. Games that are bad from the start are easy to drop, but the ones that don't show it at first, they hook you. They hook you, and then you want to find out if it was really a fluke or not. Showdown? More like man down, because this game tried to kill me. The intro is kind of like a Saturday morning cartoon show. I have no idea if SD Gundam is like this in the media, but the animation is pretty damn good. It shows this silly little guy beating the shit out of other little Zaku things, and then the other guy is all like, I went the sorcery build! Witness me, you troglodytes! And then this other dude is a samurai, and he's gonna Yuri all over their Lowenthals. Now we have our group of 3 powerful protagonists. All have showed off their diverse abilities, and the organization they work for is ASS, the Awesome Suit Syndicate. What? Oh, you want to correct that misinformation? Do it. Go down to the comments and tell me what the name of their organization really is. Don't pause, and as you scroll down, you should feel your penis get smaller and smaller in size. Now, typically, when I start recording any game, I go to the options to tweak any settings that make the experience easier to...
Zacko!
Our
Game option!
What the fuck?
Today's meeting is all about how this option screen lets you set your speakers according to the TV you're using!
Okay, now this is a phenomenon that most would call an inconvenience. I'm glad you can skip this, because that alone makes this a cute scene for those that want to watch corny English dub instead of the digital equivalent of a flat tire. Zakkos are cute, and I suppose this isn't terrible. Maybe the endless downward spiral of life has made me bitter. Who really knows?
Want to remind you to take a break from the game every once in a while, Zacko!
Take a break? That sounds great! Too bad I'm always working, you gaggle of green goofballs, Zacko.
Now it's time for us, the Gundam Force!
Oh wait, that's what they are, they're the Gundam Force! See, I told you earlier! What do you mean I'm gaslighting you? You're being unreasonable. Calm down. The SDGF's main objective right now is to investigate the dimension Halo. What is that? I don't know. Neither do they. So they send in the best of the best to handle it. Side note, but holy shit, I love this art style. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The early 2000s hyper anime 3D JRPG look, your Virtua Quests, your Star Ocean 3s, your Xenosagas, I love it. The game in and of itself doesn't look amazing. It's a standard PS2 game, and it probably didn't even look that good back then. but these art styles will always be timeless to me personally. Back on track though, let's formally meet our playable characters, starting with Captain Gundam.
I'm picking up multiple energy sources coming from the Neotopia area inside the Dimension Halo.
Oh my god, I can't believe there's energy sources in the Halo. I sound like a 4Kids dub character. I activate Mirror Force to destroy all attack position monsters you control. Why the fuck do I sound like Nuxtaku?
Zero is next, and Mommy, sorry, Mommy. Sorry, Mommy. Sorry, Mommy.
Huh. How unsightly.
And Bakunetsumaru is the last one, and he's...
a samurai, a samurai, a samurai, and a samurai.
He and Zero argue a lot. It's not the most witty banter, but hey, it's a kid's game. They can't exactly call each other cocksuckers or motherfuckers. I think the way it is now is fine for the age gate. Okay, yay, some gameplay. Fuck, this camera feels like it's hanging off of a trapeze artist. You're telling me there's nothing else in 2004 that y'all could have done? This is like weirdly intentional. Like, I almost don't want to point out how sloppy this camera is due to it probably being some kind of joke. It's truly egregious. But hey, according to the intro movie, I have the promise of some baller gameplay to look forward to, so let's not pass judgment. Let's just talk to Bellwood. Oh shit, wait, hold on. I can look around my room and name my characters some stupid shit too. Oh, here's my cool character named Thumbtack Wall Scroll. Okay, we're finally able to play this game. It's time to live the hack and slash fantasy afforded to us at the beginning of this game. Let's fucking go! Oh, yeah, this is a game for the little kitty witties, so I guess tutorials are necessary. Okay, now let's play... Whoa, what the fuck? Someone had to play this and be cool with shipping this bullshit out. I know y'all can't feel it, but I know y'all can see that something is just off. Like, off a cliff in Minecraft. This camera and the movement is just so garbage. You auto-aim at enemies and you can swap between targets, so like Kingdom Hearts, but made in Pee-wee's Playhouse.
This is crack. Rock cocaine.
This is a necessity as well because actually trying to hit things is super clunky and just completely hindered by this camera work. Shortly after I realized that auto-aim was so powerful, I just sat there and shot my gun, and it was very effective.
I shoot niggas for fun.
Unfortunately, playing with Captain Gundam never got better. It was truly life-threatening shit, and personally, I do not acknowledge him anymore. Now, to be fair, there are 2 more characters that they showed off, and they seem to have much more eccentric styles and more personality. So let's see how Zero plays. Okay, now we're cooking! While Captain Gundam gets all the terribleness figured out, here comes the SD Step-On-Me Queen herself to pick up some of the slack. Yes, the fighting is still like driving a truck with bad shocks, but her moveset is much more fun because she just overcompensates for it by being fucking badass. The combos in this game, if you can land every hit, ends with a super duper move, and it typically is a stronger version of whatever thing you were using before it. In Captain's case, he just shoots a bigger dumb bullet. With Zero, she causes the second Ice Age. She also has some pretty sick movement options. That means basically nothing, but it's cool nonetheless. Around this time was where I also realized that playing at 2x speed on an emulator was basically a fix for the game. The game is sluggish and weird to play normally, but actually gets some twitchiness at double speed, and it also makes the game snappier to play as a result. Yeah, regular PS2s can't do this, but if you're playing this on one of those anyway, then that is what I affectionately refer to as a you problem. Now on to Baku. Hell yeah, now he's pretty badass! Zero is a bit more graceful than him, but overall they both play better than Captain Gundam. I use play better pretty generously though, because no matter who you're playing as, the game overall just ain't it, chief. It's literally like wow, who did that? I think Never Ending Tomorrow is better, and I will hold that to my fucking chest. But, of course, y'all already knew that if y'all read the title. So let's get to the best of SD Gundam games, in my opinion, before I pass out recording this line. Fuck, I'm hungry. Now, when this game came out, the cute bitches in the Discord said that this game was adjacent to Kingdom Hearts, and that is a hard sell. I am a huge Kingdom Hearts fan, and comparing one of these things to my beloved is something that I can only meet with a curious optimism, because I do believe that anyone who says something like that has to know what they're talking about. Side note, but this game was developed by ArtDink. This only reminds me of that one Cat Icarus video about Mr. Domino, and he says it like,
a Japanese company called Art, dick.
So I'm already warmed up and ready for a mating press. Let's get to the game. Right off the bat, I can go ahead and tell you that this game is the best timeline version of SD Showdown. Yes, they have a million more times the horsepower to work with, but as I have shown on this channel before, sometimes the raw power of newer hardware doesn't automatically mean that they'll use it the best way they can. This game feels like the game that SHOWDOWN should have been, and that has nothing to do with the higher power hardware in my opinion. Not only does the camera function, not perfectly, but it definitely works, which is as much as I can say for SD SHOWDOWN, the combat is much more fluid by comparison, and it really does allow for some combo expression, which does align with the Kingdom Hearts allegations. Allegations? Like Sora assaulted someone? My experience working with Xemnas, speaking my truth. Now, to reiterate, it's not exactly a fair comparison, and I know that, but I think this is a valid chance to call out fundamental flaws within games, no matter what or when they came from. Your game could be on the PS1 with no analog sticks, and you could still put work into having a functional camera, no stiffness in combat, and still have enough time to take the dog out at the end of the day. The combat is impactful and responsive, and even a bit twitchy, which I love. You can cancel your attacks with the guard button and create new paths to beat people up, even though the combos aren't really required to be longer or anything to be more effective, but it's fun to have the option to craft your playstyle. Overall, the gameplay is satisfying, and while not perfect, it's fucking close. Now, where the new generation does help this game out is in the graphics, and this has got to be my personal favorite looking game besides Gundam Evolution and Gundam vs Zeta Gundam. It looks genuinely beautiful. The character portraits and sprites are high quality, and the 3D models look just masterfully done. I'll get into this a little bit later, but I have to touch on the models. The models hold a lot of weight to me personally in Gundam games, as I think I've made that clear at this point, and this game passes the vibe check with flying colors. And I can't lie, the story premise isn't that bad either. I've gotten pretty used to the Gundam story thing at this point. Typically in Gundam games, you go in order of story, going from MSG to Zeta to ZZ to Char to wherever they decide to stop in whatever game it is. Here, you fight Rambo-Rao's Goof as the first boss fight, but plot twist, it turns into Barbatos? So naturally, something is fucked in this Dragon Ball Xenoverse. After that fight, you make it back to base to regroup with these two cuties. Juno Astarte, who I started flirting with frame 1 because my Riz is unbeatable. Whoa, Gundam Barbatos? That was rad as heck, man. Absolutely bonkers, bro. That was the fucking bee's knees, my dude. Right. There was a cute little scene as well where this character doesn't have a name, so Juno, the other character, gives them a name, and their name becomes Sakura Slash. Sakura coming from her code name SACRA, which is close enough to Sakura, I guess. And Sodashu coming from the fact that they have a slash in the code name. Look, I said it was cute, not groundbreaking, okay? Now, the baseline premise I mentioned before is easy to explain, which I appreciate. There's some timeline fuckery happening that screws with the events of Gundam. These events of fuckery are called breaks, and of course we have to stop these from happening because these events, while they're all simulated, can actually screw with the real timeline. While I was playing, I couldn't help but think about Dragon Ball Xenoverse. We even have our own Trunks and Supreme Kai of Time. But where this game really impresses me is the way you progress and unlock content. The game is more or less linear in terms of just your typical beat 'em up, but this game ups the replayability by letting you collect blueprints of other mobile suits and getting to play as them. And what I thought they were gonna do was only give you mass-produced suits at the beginning and slowly drip-feed you the cool suits. And they were doing that for a little minute until they just dropped Barbie on my fucking head. I feel like this is a great way to unlock characters in like fucking anything. It's not too slow, the dopamine gets flowing from the unlock animations, and the suits are all assigned to different roles, which means stat and move differences. No two suits that I've played with at this point have been so similar to each other to where I wanted to just play the same suit over and over. Some suits are better at the brah brah, and other suits are good at mauling things until the pain stops. You can also level up each suit individually and fit them with parts that upgrade them in specific ways that suit you. Because I got started in the game so late, they gave me so many level up credits that I was able to start a small crypto business. Zako coin. So yes, I leveled up everything I could, but they do limit your stats for a while until you progress, so you don't one-shot everything in your way, which I do admire because there isn't that many enemies on screen, so if you could just get rid of them that fast, then this would just be SD Fallout at a certain point, Which isn't to say anything about how the game looks. Yes, I'm going back to that. This game is literally the graphical equivalent of an oasis in a desert, but instead of sand, it's a melty blood player's sex life. I am sorry. Something about this game's lighting and shading really just works, and I really hope they reuse this for future games, not just this. There's this per object motion blur that the game uses in moderation that really accentuates how swift yet graceful these animations are. It's right in the middle of realism and stylization, and I got used to that in New Gundam Breaker, and it is used to great effect here. There's environmental destruction, which isn't handled the most tactfully, but it's there, and it's fine. These factors all come together to make a game that looks like a scale modeler's wet dream, and don't worry, I won't tell anyone you're dreaming about fucking robots. I also wanted to touch on the movement in this game a bit more, because this is something that I cannot stress enough, and I will shout it from the heavens and hells as many times as I need to. Animation canceling is one foolproof way to make your game better. Even if you're making a fucking online card game, bitch, you better let me cut those card animations by 5 frames. Actually, you can cancel pretty much anything in this game with your block button, which means you can wave dash, which immediately makes me want to go through with this dumbass idea. As far back as history goes, KinzieK has never speedrun anything in his life, except for the first level of Sonic Unleashed, and the first level of Sonic Adventure, and getting into the castle of Super Mario 64. But that streak of doing absolutely fucking nothing with their time ends today. This is KinzieK summoning Salt Edit, or whatever. That was fun. If I had to put a teensy tiny itty bitty yellow polka dot bikini on this one, just play the game. Buy it, download it on Game Pass. It's worth every digital smackaroon you spend on it because it's genuinely a good time and very competently made. It is the best SD Gundam has to offer out of everything I played. Don't forget that literally out of everything I played on the channel. Not the best SD Gundam game ever. I don't know that for a fact. Just putting that out there. If you really want to twist my arm, one of the best Gundam games I've played to date, actually. Avoid SHOWDOWN like the plague unless you want boils or whatever plague bearers get. These are the type of Gundam games that should get pushed into the greater consciousness, because the fact that I hear more about Gundam Battle Operation 2 than this game is criminal in my honest opinion. Lock they asses up. Lock them up. There's enough space for this gem, so give it the space, goddammit. It deserves it. If I get even one other person to play it for the first time, then bitch, I did my job. And now, we are back at the present. Newbies may not care about this part, but I got something to say about all of this, and if you stick around and listen, you'll be cuter for it, I guarantee it. Gundam has gotten me to the point I have now. And the fact that I've never compromised on my mission to make people smile while talking about the crazy shit these games are capable of? Damn. I've liked this entire experience of going back through them and seeing where I came from. And if you're new here, this is the important part. This ain't even close to my full catalog. I've covered so many things. I get called a Gundam YouTuber from time to time, it's very sparing, but to be extremely honest, I am variety-based and always have been. I've covered Sword Art games, Valorant, the Halo series, Tales of, Xenoblade, the works. And I will continue to do that, and I will continue to talk shit about anything I latch onto. I love games, I love telling jokes, and I love this community that I am steadily growing, and I want you all to be a part of it if you aren't already. It's gonna get fucking wild in here, and you need to be at the party before the shots start getting passed around. And if you liked anything you saw in this compilation, make sure you subscribe, because that's not the end of it. It won't be the end of it for a really long time. But before you get into that Hennessy, stay hydrated. But most importantly, stay cute. You lovely sleepy asses, because I know y'all sleep into my video right now, but that's okay because I need that watch time, okay? Bye!